We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up.
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa. Hey folks, welcome back to the program. I don't know about you, but Robin Huston's Light It Up gets me going. That's awesome. That's a brilliant song, which we're using for our theme song here on the program. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Hey folks, thanks for tuning back in. Friday, January 19th, 2024. New Year's is come and gone. Martin Luther King Day is come and gone. And we are marching right through January. Here in central Pennsylvania, it began snowing this morning, and it's still coming down. Very light flurries. Almost looks like dandruff falling off somebody's scalp. And too early to shovel the lawn or shovel the drive. But we'll have to get out and do that at some point today. It's below freezing here, and the snow again. This is the third snow we've had of late, and more snow than we had all of last year by my recollection. So that global warming is not working out so well here in Pennsylvania, where the temperature is currently 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Welcome back to the program. For the comment that was here from Alter Bridge, I think it was, let me explain to you. That song that you hear at the beginning, it's Friday. The song is called Bourgeois, which is kind of like having a good time, a laugh, a dance sort of thing. And Boer, of course, is a farmer. And so that's just kind of a Friday thing. So it's a lovely, lovely Friday. And so we play that song typically on Fridays. Not every Friday, but often. So that's what that song is for the start of the broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you who were here for the previous stream, which it appears a lot of people aren't now, I peaked at 120 on that broadcast I just did about Franz Cronier being attacked by News 24. And their arguments carry no merit and no weight. It was comical to see it. The state of journalism is beyond perilous. It's kind of dead, ladies and gentlemen. The blurring the lines between actual news reporting and actual commentary is sad. Now, before anyone calls me a hypocrite, this is not simply a news program. It's a news and analysis program. We do analysis here and commentary on the news, particularly calling out the fake stream media, the legacy media that lie and deceive the world. And that's what News 24 is doing. They're misleading the world with this thing. They're offering no evidence as evidence. Anyway, let's get to who's in the chat, and then we'll start the program off with the news stories for today. I hope some of you got directed here. It never did tell me that people came over. I guess it only does that when you get redirected from a different channel. It didn't tell me who came over from my previous stream. But let's say hello to everybody here. Dylan Combrick is here. Matt Canale. Hey, Matt, listen, this weekend's Super Brew is a tough one, man. These games being played for rugby this weekend, whew, man. I'll tell you, there's some hard ones to pick here, some very tight games. The outcomes, it's going to be difficult, and I think I'll probably fall to the bottom of the Challenge Cup competition. So, by the way, I've just opened up the Six Nations Rugby Ascendant League. If you want to join that, you can go join Rugby Ascendant League. If somebody wants that link, we'll put it in later on. Ken Erickson's here, says, where is everyone and everything? Well, Ken, we were live on the other broadcast. We were live on one that was unannounced until shortly before the broadcast. Most people didn't get the notification. Janet Leedy's here. Welcome, Janet. Teresa's here. Hello. Carlos Mango says the Marxists love their fake voting and gulags. They do. They do. Remember Jacinda Ardern, who just got married, locking corona patients up in hotels and billing them and then putting armed police outside so they couldn't escape? Ronell is here. Welcome. Erica's here as well. Hey, Erica. Hope you're doing well today. Mike is here. Garrett Gillich. No sound. There's still no sound? What's going on? No sound. No sound. Come on. By now, people hearing me. We talking about no sound. There's sound. All right. Helen Rich is here. Trevor Bush. It's frigid in Indiana. I'll bet it is, Matt. Gypsy Backpackers. Sinette DeLong. Welcome, Sinette. Pleasure. Did I pronounce it wrong? Is it Sinette or I think it's Sinette? So welcome to you, Sinette. Pleasure to see you join us here. Thanks for coming along. Rod Lofeld is here. Says good evening to us. And then who else we got there? Your sound is off. My sound is on. What sound is off? You guys are telling me sound is off. What sound is off? There's no sound off. The desktop was off, but that was just for a moment. So, yeah, sounds 100%. Yeah. We should use Al Gore. Hey, Fleshing's in from the 15-minute city of Oxford. We haven't seen Keith for a few days. Keith Alderson in from Coventry. I hope Keith is well. Boars aren't as obvious in song form with the language barrier from skydiving and farm life. Eating boar. Boars, not boar. Paulie's so glad to see the traction in the last few videos. Yeah, we've had a few. Did we get 14,000? We did on one of those. Yeah, we have 14,000 on the ANC Suddenly Flush with Cash. That one has died off now. It's at 14,571. Hey, Christopher Wilton is subscribed. Thank you for that, Christopher. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, donkey. Quelle Yeah, that one's, actually generated a little bit of ad revenue, too. $9 in ad revenue. That's surprising. But it is tapered off at 14,600 views. So there you go. Imagine that. If that was a 100,000 view video, which I used to get all the time, that would be $90 in advertising. At least, yeah, crazy stuff. So we got, that was for that live one that I did, the short one. And here we go. Alter Bridge has got a free membership, courtesy of Jansa van Rensburg. All right, and so the video I did yesterday, where's it at? That one is approachable. It's JP Dreckmeyer. Welcome back to you. That one's at about 12,000. 12,001 views, 108 new subscribers, 467 hours of viewed content for that video. That was the one about as the ANC caught up another financial scandal. Warwick Schultz. There's an interesting combination of Anglo and German names. Warwick and Schultz. Welcome to you, and thank you, Chet, for those memberships. Gordon, congratulations. Yeah, so that one's still doing 600 views in the last hour. That's not great, but it's good. So that might keep going. That's at 12,000, and then we just did that live a few minutes ago. So yeah. Jimmy Coons also gets a membership there. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so that last one we just did had... No, that's yesterday. Sorry. Let me refresh this page here, and then we'll get back to the conversation here. Yeah, that one had 120 at the peak when it was live, so we'll see what happens on that, but that's where we're at right now. Excuse me. Oh, 14,000 subscribers. Yeah, we've hit 14,000, 14,043. A long way from the 23,000 we once upon a time had, but hey, it's back on track, maybe. These videos are, every time the ANC does something stupid, we benefit from it. So frankly, if the ANC loses power this year, it's going to be like people say about, about Rush Limbaugh. What's he going to have to talk about now that the Republicans are in charge? Well, he had a lot to talk about, holding Republicans accountable. If the ANC gets out of government, we're going to have a lot to talk about with a fractious coalition coming up later this year. That will be interesting. Andrea Fix says, beautiful warm afternoon in George, Garden Route. Ah, George, lovely spot. Alterbridge, I know, just jokes. Okay, gotcha, Alterbridge. And then more dodgy rugby this weekend. Lots of rugby. Kub Ostoys, I never understood, but what is the conversation rate from view to watch hours to ad revenue? What is the conversion rate? Conversion rate from view to watch hours to ad revenue. I'm not really familiar with it, Kub. I don't make that much money off this channel. I was hesitant to monetize this channel in the early days. Those have been here for a very long time. Like Eric and Hendo know that I pushed back when people kept asking me to monetize it because I was only using it as a venue to promote my consultancy so that people could see what they're getting when I talk about strategic issues on economics, politics, terrorism, national security, trade, energy. And so I was reticent. But people kept asking me, and some people were actually pestering me about it, not in a bad way. And I finally came around to realizing why people want it. People like having the avatars next to their name. Like Alter Bridge has a castle there, which means Alter Bridge has been a paying member for a long time. People like the emojis they get. And back in the old days, on the original channel that was censored but then restored in February last year after 2 years in the Gulag, I had a whole bunch of emojis because the more subscribers you get, the more emojis you can have. The more paying subscribers. So, yeah, the more subscribers is, not more paying subscribers. So when we got to 23,000, I had a whole bunch of emojis, which people were having fun with. And yeah, so people like that. They also like to show their loyalty to a channel. So I monetize it. And the super chats are very helpful. They do help defray a little bit of my cost. But let me tell you, the amount of money that I spend traveling the world, buying equipment, like custom building this computer, building this studio, airfare, hotels, meals, rental cars, petrol, all the things that I do to bring you the news and analysis from all over the world. I mean, I've reported live from the UK. I've reported live from South Africa, from Botswana, from all over the United States. And also I'll do it from other places when I travel. Also from France, I've reported live. I forgot about that. France, yep. So, and from reported from Switzerland. Yep. So I will, the amount of money that comes in the channel is a small amount. It helps, honestly, most months it would kind of pay after taxes. It'll pay for my internet, maybe. That's about it. But yeah. Koob also says, I was there during the original channel. I suspect monetization also means more promotion in the algorithm. That's true. Another thing that it's in the algorithm that gets more attention is when you catch onto a trending news story. Unfortunately for me, I'm often ahead of the trend. I'm ahead of the wave, and I do a video, and people don't start paying attention to the event until weeks or months later, and then everyone's talking about it. And of course, I was ahead, like Tucker Carlson. I'm reporting on it before someone else does, based on my analysis. But hey, that's life. When you come first and you try to break the news. But yeah, the more you chat, the more chat that takes place in a live stream, the more likely the algorithm's going to, because it's paying attention while we're streaming. Right now, the algorithm is paying attention, analyzing every video that's being broadcast. That's why they have such massive computers for YouTube. They're analyzing everything. So if you're live streaming and the people are a lot of chatting going on, and they're probably, I suspect, picking up on some keywords, and then they'll start promoting it. They'll start announcing. But YouTube is very malicious. They don't share. I mean, look. They shouldn't even bother saying, notify me of all videos, because they don't do that. I have all notifications on Morning Shot, and I don't get any announcements on Morning Shot. I go back periodically, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and set it for all notifications, and I still don't get them. I don't get them on my app, on my mobile. I don't get them on my PC. I don't get emails. I don't get anything. Back in the day, YouTube, when I first started this, used to send emails, but it was billions of emails. They had to stop it. So yeah, the algorithm, yeah, but the content versus viewed. What I look at when I look at what's going on here with my channel is, number one, I look at subscribers. When I'm stagnated and I'm not growing in subscribers, I know that people are not finding my channel. Because when people find the channel, and I can prove it with larger videos, 10,000 views resulted in over 100 new subscriptions. That's not bad. 7,000 views resulted in over 90 subscriptions. That's pretty good. But when your video is only seen by 1,000 people, your difficulty in getting new subscribers is difficulty. So the news program is not gaining me new subscribers. That's just my loyal audience who likes the news, and that's why I do it. And frankly, it takes a lot of my time to do this. It's very time consuming, but it keeps me abreast of events, so I'm not complaining. But there's no value return as far as money, just value in what I contribute to those who watch the program. And that to me is worthwhile. So I keep doing it. But the other videos, they can grow the channel. I mean, on the old channel, if you remember that, Koob, then on the old channel, I had live streams, and I got 2,500 subscribers in one live stream once. That was when the first Senecal event the second Senecal event took place. Yeah. You nailed that story and honestly deserve a journalistic award for your reporting January 6th. Well, thank you for that, Koob. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I nailed a bunch of stories, but yeah, people don't get to see it. So look, I'm not complaining. Somebody just came out and said, hey, it's nice to see you not complaining about YouTube. I'm not complaining. I'm answering questions here. Look, this platform is what it is. And right now we're not afoul of it at all. No warnings, no strikes, no misbehavior, no false claims against us. So we just keep doing what we're doing, and maybe it catches on and resonates. So yeah, let me go back and see what else is here. Yeah, so, but when I look at the videos, the analytics, the things that they're important, and I'll give you some reasons why. Okay, just kind of explain from my perspective. Okay, I look at the last month, which is important. The last week is interesting, but only if a lot has happened. Like right now, in the last 48 hours, I have 29,612 views. That's pretty good. But on the old channel, I used to get 10,000 views per day. So all the time, that would be over 20,000, always, that chart. But now that's unusual. Typically, that's only a few thousand. Now it's 29,000 because I had a big day, and now we're having another big day. So, but in the middle, it's pretty slow because I didn't release the video. So I look at that. That's important. I look at the number of subscribers. When I stagnate on subscribers, then I know that people aren't finding my content, because YouTube removes subscribers all the time. I suspect some of them might be trolls or bots that they're removing. The other thing I look at is watch time. Because you can make a video. So for instance, when I do Rugby Ascendant and I do live broadcasts, a lot of people, when they find things on YouTube, think they're going to get a free game. They think, because some people commit copyright fraud and they put Super Sport on YouTube and they play it. And if YouTube catches it, they take it down, they remove the channel. I don't want to lose my channel. That's a business. Rugby Ascendant, I'll tell you flat out, is a business. So from experience, I know that if I have less than 4 minutes of view time on a video, on Rugby Ascendant, then that means people didn't enjoy my broadcast. Now you say 4 minutes, people, that's all they watch. Well, that's because we get thousands of views, and many of those people viewing are just looking for a free game. So they come, they click, they watch. It's just me talking and do color commentary and play-by-play, and they're like, oh, I wanted to watch the game. And I appreciate that. They're trying to find the game. But I can't show you the game on YouTube because it's a copyright violation. I don't own the copyrights to that broadcast. That's a fact. So it's theirs, and I'm not going to dispute that. So on that broadcast, when I have 5 minutes or longer, that's pretty cool. On the broadcast I did last week with the Cheetahs on Sunday, when the Cheetahs lost that game, the average view was 9 minutes. That's like a record for me on Rugby Ascendant for a live stream color commentary of the game. Now, that was because the audience was relatively small and people stuck with me, which was pretty cool. Now, on this program, when I do the news, anytime you have a live stream that goes more than 30 minutes, no matter how long it goes, and you average better than 17 or 18 minutes a viewer, you've had a successful live stream, because hundreds of people will tune in and go, ugh, or they come in later on, they don't watch the whole thing. And every person that watches for 30 seconds averages out the person that watched for the entire hour, hour and a half. So when you get over 20 minutes, that's phenomenal. I've had streams with 25, 29, 30 minutes of people watching and hundreds of people watching. That's some dedicated viewers. And also that's an indication to me that the content was appealing or interesting at least, or at least controversial, and they want to hear what I had to say. So those are the things I look for when it comes to YouTube and people watching content. So I look at subscribers, I look at the views, and the revenue I look at, but it's, the revenue is not a big deal. I made, actually on the old channel, was making some good money, folks. There was a time on the old channel back in the day, before they came after me, that I was making 50,000 Rand a month on that channel. I don't even come close to that figure now. Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact, Jack. So yeah, if I divide the number of hours I spend working on this program and making videos and doing analysis, vice what I charge for consulting, ooh, I am working for nothing, man. All right, so Gypsy Backpacker says, like an early Christmas. There's Keith Alderson. There's Keith. I said, is Keith here? And there he is from Oxford. All right, so what else? YouTube content creator, expensive hobby. It is an expensive hobby. Yeah. But a lot of people have come to rely on it. And right now, I'm not distracted by some other affectation other than my consulting. And when I have consulting, I do it. So, yeah. Yeah, you're very early in a lot of stories. You were right on January 6th. Yep. Alter Bridge is asking people to donate. Equals beard length. He's obviously falling on hard times. Well, wait till the beard disappears. Then you'll know I'm really in hard times. Nailed that story, and thank you for that. I think, honestly, look, I mean, Paulie was here earlier. Is Paulie still here? I think that my coverage of the Cape Town fires a couple years ago in 2021, April of 2021, the fires that I covered just a couple days before that channel was censored, I thought that was world class. You guys can disagree with me. I mean, that was completely objective. I tried to tamp down speculation. A lot of people are speculating and acting foolish, and I tried to tamp that down, and we went with the facts, and I analyzed the facts and reported what we knew. We got a counselor from the DA from one of the wards affected. We got a firefighter in Paulie who, once he flew back to Joburg, got on with us. We had social media, and Marilyn's membership. Hey, Marilyn. Marilyn's been a member for a long time. Yeah, so that's the one I'm kind of proud of, and it's back. That video footage is available because it was on the original channel, so you can go back and watch at Real Chris Wyatt, at Real Chris Wyatt, and you can watch that footage from the Cape Town fires if you want. It was pretty cool. I went back and watched it, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. One joke per 4 minutes, says Alter Bridge. Okay. Erica just gave a super chat, and it didn't come up, but I did see Marilyn's membership for 30 months. Wow, that's on this channel. They include the original channel. I press play, make a smart comment or two, fall asleep while it plays for a few hours. Don't get too excited about your stats. Alter Bridge. Not all my audience are 87, my friend. Not everyone's 87 years old. Old man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Chris Wanapul's having a braai. That's awesome. On a Friday, I like a fried tag having a braai. All right, so we lost about 5 people while I talked about YouTube, so let's get to the news. Obviously, those people don't want to hear about YouTube. So we lost 3. They're back now. Anyway, let's get to the news. And that's there's the super chat from Erica. Thank you, Erica. We're going to have to tear up Erica's credit card. She's been doing a lot of super chats and buying memberships here. And we appreciate it. Congratulations, reaching 14,000. The growth continues. Yeah, let's hope so. The stuff builds on itself. That's the thing. Unless they hold you down and hide you, once people see things, people talk about it. They share links on Twitter, on Gitter, on Facebook and other places. They share the links, and then people find it, and they might come check it out. So momentum builds momentum, and that's why my channel grew so fast originally. I mean, I started with 2 subscribers in February of 2020, and by the end of May, I had 1,000. I thought that was pretty cool. So February, I think it was February 18th is when I started, something like that. So March, April, May. In 3 months, I went to 1,000. But as you all saw from the book, where's the book here? Come on. Thankfully, it was documented. Erica and others put this project together. I think Jessica is the one that ordered it here in the States or something like that. This is from 2020. Happy birthday to me. This was incredible. This is the loyalty the audience had. So incredible. Yeah. So here we go. There's some folks I don't necessarily know what we see anymore. Anna and James. Okay. And here's Bram Janssen van Rensburg. Yep. There we go. But this is good because it shows milestones. So April 29th, look how excited I was to get 250 subscribers. Look at that. Remember I used to have that whiteboard. I put up 250 subs. Wow. Then May 11th, 500 subscribers. There we go. Look at that. Look at that hair. Yep. Laura Fry. Wow, where's Laura at? Yeah, I haven't seen Laura in ages. Then there's the Giselle concert. That was May 8th. That's when Erica came on board. There's Giselle, the lockdown concert. And there is Drian and Lezan, who are still viewers, not frequent viewers, or at least not frequent chatters, but they're still on there. They moved to Botswana. Lovely people. So the Giselle concert. And then 1,000 subscribers on May 24th. Look at that. 1,000 subscribers. Oops, over here. May 24th. 1,000 subscribers. Yep. And then June, so a month later, 4,000 subscribers. Quadruple the size of the channel in just less than a month. Then July 21st, when I did my famous video about cutting up your Springbok jerseys, look at all my Springbok jerseys there on that rack. And I said it was silly. Then we've got 7,000 subscribers on August 13th. There you go. Check that out. And that's from Ronaldo. There you go, with his dogs. Carter and Kennedy. Yep. Then August 29th, the Bikers Against Farm Attacks. Audrey. I haven't seen Audrey in a long time. And then what else? There's the Witkreuz Monument. Covered that. And that's from Jessica there. Peaky. Okay. Then Senecal, October 16th, 2020. Remember that? Oof. Yeah, that was the second one. And then here's from the Brew. Rest in peace, Brew. From the Garage. Remember that, guys? And then November 30th, 2020. So from February to November, I went from 2 subscribers to 20,000, a growth of 19,998 subscribers. Yep. And we don't see that anymore. Of course, me saluting a new member. And the new member there was Leonard Todford. Okay. And then, of course, there's the Christmas. This is a lovely gift. I'll always cherish this. I keep it right here. And it's pretty awesome. And it also documents the growth of my subscribers. Which on the original channel, I would have had a hard time figuring out with no access to my channel when it was in the Gulag for 2 years. So I'd had to do a lot of research to find those numbers. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for that. That was pretty incredible. I honestly think more and more the type of skills that lead to success as an officer military analyst like you translate very well journalistic integrity. Well, thank you for that, Coop. Thank you very much. I think so too. Danny Thron base. What's that? What's Danny Thron base? I suspect self-confidence is an essential skill in the military has served you well in journalism too. Well, thank you for that. Yep. What is this? I have over 1,000 subscribers by Erica Wyatt. What is that? Dan Hook is here. Okay, cool beans. Thank you for the kind comments. You're on your way to getting back there. Well, Ken, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, we have people who attack the channel, and that's what hurt us originally. We had people lying about the channel during a censorship regime, which has been eased up on YouTube. It's not quite the same as it was under Susan Wojciechowski or whatever her name was. It's eased up a bit. But then we had this past year the nonsense going on with the right-wing wackadoodles who claim I work for the CIA. Then the left-wing wackadoodles who claim that I'm a white supremacist and a fat shamer and all the other lies that they told about me. Really sad people. Yes, Garrett, I know. Danny Thron is a small military base, but what about it? What about it? Japanese moon landing in about 6.5 hours. Well, not just that. Later today, we will see the Peregrine mission burn up in the atmosphere, bringing the moon lander back and the remains of all those people. Helen says your motto is never give up. Yeah, I guess that's the case. All right, so let's get to the news, which I promised to do. Let's check in on that. So here you go. Here's the news, folks. Thanks for sticking with us for this first half hour. South Africa's credit rating is unchanged. Fitch leaves it there. Even though the ANC could lose the majority, it's not going to affect policies. That's correct. So that, ladies and gentlemen, you see it right there. Today is January 19th of 2024. When the ANC lies to voters and says, if the ANC loses power, you'll lose your SASA grants. Fitch, a credit ratings agency which affects finance the world over and full of very talented analysts, has stated unequivocally that policies aren't going to change. If the DA leads a coalition, they're not going to end SASA grants. They're not going to end BEE. They'll end expropriation without compensation, but they're not going to end BEE. That's going to stay. That's not going anywhere. Do you think it's going to end? No way. No way. The coalition will fracture on that. Fitch ratings have kept South Africa's credit rating unchanged at BB negative, which is a very low rating, by the way, with a stable outlook. While the country could see less load shedding, good luck with that, Fitch is concerned about the country's weak growth prospects and ballooning government debt. Yep, they expect government debt to reach 83.2% of GDP this year. ANC could lose its majority, but this is unlikely to result in major changes in economic policy. Correct? And that's the truth. So when the ANC runs around and tries to frighten low information voters, people who don't have decent education, courtesy of the ANC's Bantu education system, don't let them mislead folks. Wherever you find yourself in South Africa, black, white, or brown, talk to friends, colleagues, and family. Talk to members of your church, your synagogue, your mosque. And don't let them fall for this nonsense. South Africa is not changing course. They're just going to get rid of some of the bigotry and hatred and racism and the corruption that is prevalent in the ruling party. Tshwane's new deputy mayor from Action SA claims that she's not sure if she paid back the 10,000 Rand. Now I sense a little trouble here. Now I smell a rat. Now, EFF claimed that, of course, it was political grandstanding, but they claimed that she had gotten 10,000 Rand of pocket money for a trip to Dubai, which she never took. Now she says she doesn't know if he paid it back. When I owe money, I have printouts. I had to pay Uncle Sam thousands of dollars in December, which I didn't have, by the way, so that's another reason I'm strapped for cash, on my income, because I have to pay double taxation. I have to pay my share plus my employer's share, which is me, so I pay over 18% of my income to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, plus I pay 28% to the federal government, plus 3% to the state of Pennsylvania, before I even get to have a penny. So I had to pay them thousands of dollars. I have receipts. I did it online. I have receipts. If I'd written a check, I'd have a check. I pull my checkbook out. And in my checkbook, there would be a canceled check. And I put it in my records. How can you have gotten money from the government and don't know if you paid it back? This woman's in trouble politically. She's in trouble. And Cilliers Brink needs to distance himself from her until she can prove that she's legitimate. Action SA's Dr. Nafise Moya has been elected as the deputy mayor of Tshwane. EFF raised an issue about whether she paid back 10,000 Rand allowance for a trip she never made. She could not confirm whether the money had been returned to the city. How can she not confirm that? Wow. I mean, honestly, this is not a good look for Pretoria. Not a good look. Okay. So Koob Oosthuizen says, wait, someone claimed you work for the CIA? Rian Grota just subscribed. I still salute for that. Thank you. Thank you, Rian, for subscribing. Bye, Donkey. Someone claimed you work for CIA. You've been a big critic of the feds, and feds are over-promoted when they do PSYOPs, not screwed by the algorithm. I can't believe anyone would fall for that. Bonnie Madubufahasi. Well, hey, Bonnie, welcome. I'm sorry if I couldn't see your name clearly on there if I butchered it. I think these people are subscribing based on watching another video. No, Koob, I'll cover that story very quick before we get back into the news here. So last year, was it when I was in South Africa? I think it was when in South Africa. Another channel where people like to swill on eucalyptus leaves from down under. We come from a land down under. Yes, that's right. Well, went on his channel and made the following statement. Aha! We have the proof. The so-called colonel is a secret CIA operative. And for the sycophantic crowd that believes anything that this clown tells them, they actually fell for that. On the video, he purported to show evidence, proof that I'm a CIA agent. Well, what he did is he did some cursory research, Google search, and found the Energy in Africa Summit that took place in Denver, Colorado in 2018. Now, let me give you a little backstory for that. As the director of African Studies at the Army War College, I was asked to go speak at that conference about energy in Africa. I'm an energy industry analyst. That's a tough thing to say. Energy industry analyst as well. So I accept the invitation, but since it didn't do anything to benefit the U.S. Army, the Army wouldn't pay for me to go on that trip. So I requested a leave of absence, essentially is what you call it. It's called permissive TDY, permissive temporary duty. And that means you're authorized to go somewhere, but you just don't get paid for it or compensated, which is fine. So I went to Denver, Colorado on my dime, out of my pocket. I paid for the airfare on Frontier. I was still active duty, so I got to take a bag. They don't charge for active duty military, so that saved me $100 for that. And the flight was like $160 round trip because it was inconvenient. I rented the car myself, and I went into the city. I paid for my own hotel room. I went to the conference, and I spoke about China in the energy sector in Africa. And I've actually shown that presentation here on my YouTube channel a couple years ago. Anyway, that's what I did. So as part of that, anytime you have a conference, they provide photographs, biographies of the speakers. Well, mine was provided. And where did they get it from? Me. I gave them the biography. So the biography that they presented, the text, was posted on the website. The eucalyptus drinker went to the website, took a screen capture of my biography from this is public. So you can go look for it now. Energy in Africa. In fact, I'll look for it right now. Let me see if I can find it. Let me do that just to prove this. Energy in Africa. Energy in Africa Conference. Okay, let's see. Okay, Energy in Africa Conference. 2024. Okay, let's see if it actually still has 2020 on there. Okay. Okay, so this is the 15th one coming up now. So here we go. That's the 15th one coming up. So I'm looking to see conference. Okay, does it have previous ones? Okay, so here's the speakers of the one coming up. Okay? All right. Past and present partners. These are people sponsored. Look at all these people and organizations that sponsor this event. Department of Commerce, NEPAD, the World Bank. All these people sponsor this event. All right, so that's the current one. Let me see if I can't do it in 2018. 2018. If it's still up. It was up when he did it. No, I'm not finding here. Anyway, oh wait, there it is. No. No, I can't find it. Anyway, he found that, and he took a screen capture from it. And the screen capture that he took from it showed my biography. But he grayed out the top of the URL, the address, so that people couldn't see it. So he grayed out the address so people couldn't see it. You could see that it was clearly grayed out. And then he said, and he read my biography and said, Chief of Security Cooperation. Aha! See? CIA! Ladies and gentlemen, you can search for yourself. Let me tell you this. Office of Security Cooperation is not CIA. Hang on a second here. Let me do Office of Security Cooperation. Office of, these are Africa Command offices. Office of Security Cooperation. Okay, so I just search for that. Okay, here you go. So Office of Security Cooperation. There's a bunch of lists here. Okay, all right. Defense Security Cooperation Agency is going to tell you what it is. Should tell you what that is. Here's one in Honduras. Okay, so that one's in Honduras. So let me get that one loaded up. So let's take you a while to load these pages for some reason. Okay, so give me a second here. Security Cooperation Overview, okay? Office of Security Cooperation, that's Security Assistance, that's State Department. Okay, strategic plan for 2025. Okay. Okay, we're going to have to hunt there. So let's go. So here's an Office of Security Cooperation from the U.S. Embassy's page in Honduras. With representatives from the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Office of Security Cooperation is a joint service organization responsible for implementing U.S. defense and security policies in Honduras. The OSC works in 3 areas: enhancing Honduran armed forces, efforts to counter transnational criminal networks, promoting principles of human rights, rule of law, and providing disaster response. They plan and oversee U.S. military activities through programs such as foreign military sales, foreign military financing, international military education and training, and that's exactly what they do. And that's what I did. And so he took the biography that I provided. So if I'm from the CIA, why would I provide that to them to give away the game? That's just stupid. Yeah. It's just insane. But people fell for it. They fell for it. And let me tell you why. I was supposed to interview this woman in Mossel Bay. This whole thing that broke out. It's rare that I get a breaking story in South Africa because I'm not there most of the time. But I had a breaking story. In Mossel Bay, this DA counselor defected from the DA. Some social media claimed that she had gone to the Freedom Front Plus. I'd reached out to a friend of mine and said, do you know her? He says, no, I don't know her, but she contacted me recently for some advice. I can give you her contact and tell her, she might want to let you do an interview. So she agreed to an interview. On the Friday morning when I was supposed to do the interview, she sends me a WhatsApp about an hour before the broadcast and says, I'm not doing the interview. And I wrote back and I said, what happened? What's wrong? Are you busy? She said, no, I can't do it. And I said, why? She said, because of this. And she sent me a screen capture of the stream that I'd set up, which I'd sent to her. And in the description, it said that it's reported that she had joined the Freedom Front Plus. It's reported. I didn't claim that. And I sent it to her ahead of the broadcast so she could review it and tell me if it was correct. Is this okay? Is this satisfactory? She abandoned it. Her excuse was, well, this claims I'm in the Freedom Front Plus. I'm not going to do the broadcast. Well, later I found out from 3 different sources, all of whom know her, 2 in the Western Cape who are from that area, and 1 in Mossel Bay, that the reason that she turned down my interview is because she found out that I work for the CIA. Let me be very clear about this. If that dingbat doorknob actually believes that, then I don't want to interview her because she's not a very bright person. Yeah, but that's what happened. That's what happened. It's insanity, stupid. Anyway, yeah, they claimed I worked for it. Yeah, and you're right. If I worked for CIA, my channel would have hundreds of thousands. I'd be like Buck Sexton. Oh, wait, he did work for the CIA. No, I'd be all over the place if I worked for the government. Come on, man. It just strains credibility. And these are the same people that go, oh, when my channel was 7,000, you're a tiny little channel. They tried to demean me. The leftist hate wanker in his tiny little channel. That dude's got a Facebook page with like 75 people watching, and he's calling my channel tiny. It's comical, man. John Jarvis says, I have 1,000 subscribers by Erica Wyatt. Oh, I see what that was, John Jarvis. Yeah, I didn't get the comment. Now I get where you're coming from that. Yeah, it could get you in trouble. It's snarky. The book was a collaborative effort there, Alter Bridge. It was a collaborative effort by several people. Sharon Stone says, hey, I'm spotted your channel lately again. Well, Sharon, thanks for being back. Good to see you back there. Good to see you back. I'm glad you found me again. Michael Holmes is back. Mike's got a question. Do you think the DA will increase in power, and will this be a good election for Republicans? I'm not convinced the DA is going to do better. I'm not convinced that. I would hope for South Africans they do better. Not that I endorse the DA, but the DA is a chance at salvation for South Africans in the short term, along with the multi-party charter. But no, I'm not convinced they're going to increase, particularly with the media attacking them. I mean, there's a story today in the Daily Maverick, which is ludicrous. It talks about John Steenhuisen, and I'm going to get to that here shortly. But no, I'm not convinced at all that the DA is going to do better. I think they'll do better in Gauteng. I think they're going to do very well in Gauteng and the Western Cape. But in KZN, not sold on it. They won't do well in Limpopo. They won't do well in Mpumalanga. They won't do well in the Northern Cape, and they won't do well in the Eastern Cape. So they have to really make up the ground in Gauteng, make up the ground in the Western Cape. Yeah, so that's what I'm convinced of with the DA. So that's my thoughts on that. Will the Republicans have a good year? Hard to say. Hard to say. It's difficult because the media has such a big impact, whether people want to admit it or not. It's crazy. All right, what else I miss here? So, Sharon, you might want to sign up for one of the Telegram or WhatsApp groups so that the Colonel's Cafe Clutch on WhatsApp, which Hendo could probably put the link for a Cafe Clutch in here if anybody wants to join it. All the videos get posted in there, the links to it, so you can go to it. Paulie says, you mean you're not a CIA agent? No, I'm not. I could certainly use it. Again, I said, if I worked for the CIA right now, I would be, because of my experience, I would be in at the senior executive service. That's general officer equivalent, SES. That's a career thing. That's like a general, and that would be on the order of $180,000 a year in salary with my experience. I could use that $180,000. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. I don't have that money. Yeah, secret agent man. That's why we did the secret. Some of you missed that. We used to play the secret agent man from Johnny, what's his name? Anyway. Yep, government has no money. That's true. Whoops, what did I miss here? As an African, honestly, I thank you for sharing these powerful entities, for informing these powerful entities on the situations, important things on my continent of your own dime. It's a great favor for millions on this continent. You're welcome, but not everybody appreciates it. Not everybody appreciates it. In fact, I've become a target for all kinds of disgusting and vile people. And other than public figures, who will I attack? Who? I don't attack people. People who commit crimes, sure. Yeah, people convicted of crimes, absolutely. They're criminals. They deserve retribution. They deserve condemnation. They deserve being called out. But I don't go find individuals and attack them. But people do that to me. They do it to me. You're not a suck up. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice to be appreciated here. Leon is also in the CIA, is concerned in Africa. There you go. That's what I'll start doing it. Calling it concerned in Africa. Double negative cover for deniability. Okay, Alter Bridge. That's what it is. Sure. Yeah. I wish they'd pay for my root canal. Who hasn't come back from a Christmas break? Of course, I've put you on YouTube to keep an eye on your dodgy congregation. Oh, that's it. Yeah, Fleshin. Because the CIA is desperately concerned about people living in Oxford, Coventry, Poole, George, Mossel Bay, Cape Town. They're so concerned about that. Good point. Yeah, they want to cancel Jordan Peterson. That's what we're getting to. Oh, I mean, that's what you're talking about. With all the bull on the media, it's refreshing listening to Chris, truth and factual. Thank you. And people don't have to agree with me. Look, you can call me out. I mean, I factually stated something incorrect the other day. Now, look, I'll make an excuse. I don't make excuses, but I still have whatever this pestilence is, this affliction, and it does, with my congestion in my nasal passage and a little bit of a headache up here, it does affect my focus, and it's difficult to stay clear-headed all the time. And I misspoke the other day talking about, I got it factually wrong, about Jacob Zuma being able to serve another term in office. And Paulie corrected me on air and said, no, it's just 2 terms. And he's correct. Yeah, so look, I mean, if I get something wrong, tell me. Anyway, so. Okay, what else we got here? No, it isn't. It's just joking around. Okay, what else? All right, I think we're almost caught up here. Alan Coates here. What'd you miss? You missed a lot, man. We've been talking a lot. You also missed the stream earlier when I did the story about News 24's fact checking. All right, Agent 999. That's right. I'm Agent 999 on the Lowfeld. All right, so the Shawnee deputy mayor can't account for the 10,000. That's not good. Now, the Independent Online, I went to their news page today to look for news, and this is the lead story. This is what they lead with. South Africa's credit rating is going to stay the same. That's good news for South Africans. It'd be good if it went better, but it can't get worse. So that's actually good news. We have the matrix results coming out. We have some major rugby news breaking. We have, of course, more crime in South Africa. And this is the lead story on the Independent Online. This will show you what the media is all about. Racists attack Bala brothers in Gordons Bay and get called the K word. That's a claim. That hasn't been proven in court. And it's a very strange story here. Former TKZ singer, songwriter, and businessman Loyiso Bala and his brother Lwando were at the Strand Magistrates Court yesterday for a case against a man who allegedly racially attacked them in Gordons Bay. Racially insulted, or attack is physical, so let's be clear about this. The attack occurred on January 6th at a restaurant in Harbor Island. A group of white men attacked him and stripped him of his blanket and called him a K-word. Well, that's an attack. The suspect, who cannot be identified, says, I was sitting at the pier trying to take pictures of the scenery. I heard people talking from the balcony that I was sitting under. I heard racial slurs. Then I looked up, and a female voice said, there's a K-word looking at us. That's when a male voice said, I feel like beating a K-word today. Seriously? This seems implausible. Honestly, knowing the law, people actually sit around and do that. They sit around and try to hunt black people down. But that's their focus. Now, if it's true, it's lamentable, it's condemnable, it's a crime. But that's the lead story they have, unsubstantiated at this point. Wait till the case is over, then try to substantiate it. This is trying to spread racial discord and disharmony. That's what's going on here. All right, the Daily Maverick runs a ludicrous story about John Steenhuisen with a clickbait headline and then tells the truth. The Daily Maverick, Steenhuisen glosses over DA quitters. It's a silly season, like transfer season in football. So, DA leader John Steenhuisen believes there's nothing sinister about members leaving the party just months before an upcoming elections. He says the departure of some of his members creates space for new faces and fresh talent. Now, the reason I say this is a silly story and it's unfair, and this is what they do to the opposition political parties, is that the ANC has also had defections. Jacob Zuma's just defected. Zwaylen Kesey is defected. Not Zwaylen Kesey. Ace Magashule is defected. People are dropping out of the ANC left and right, forming new parties every day. Action SA has even seen people leave its party. The DA has seen people leave its party. EFF has lost people and gained people. Prominent people. This happens all the time. They're trying to paint a picture by implying that there's something wrong with the Democratic Alliance and that's why people are leaving, particularly if the people have brown skin or darker skin. Then they love to run with the story. But in the story, they later admit that this is happening all over. It's like the N-word called Alter Bridge. It comes from Arabic. It means unbeliever. Steenhuisen said, people come and go. It's the nature of the game. Any political system can be characterized by people who come and go. We have senior black leaders who are pulling their weight and doing their work, and they're there because of their excellence. People like Siviwe Garuba and Saleh Malatsi, Loyola Mpiti, and Mimi Gondwe. This comes after DA Minister Galeb Kachelia had resigned. He resigned because he was uttering things on social media about Hamas and pro-Hamas. And he claims it's pro-Palestine, but it was pro-Hamas. And as a consequence, the DA sanctioned him for that, saying that you can't be saying that. All right. So the fact-checking, folks, the fact-checking. This is News 24 fact-checking Franz Cronje, Dr. Franz Cronje, former chief executive officer of the Institute for Race Relations, one of the oldest public institutions in South Africa. Now, they do all these fact checks on him, and the fact checks are silly. They're not backed up by facts. It's just supposition and nonsense. Utter nonsense here. So here he says, according to Cronje, South Africa has been fronting an Iranian strategy to discredit Israel. His fact check, the author, says there's no substantive proof of this claim. Well, there's no substantive proof that Cronje is wrong either. South Africa's legal team, arguing with the ICG, outline ongoing acts of genocide, yada, 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 yada. And then they come down and they say the government of South Africa has not met Hamas. That's a lie. The ANC told us they met Hamas. And then he said in a statement released on the same day of the attack, they had condemned Hamas. They didn't condemn Hamas. And I read the statement. And that's what the guy puts in his fact check. Pretty sad. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the window of opportunity for the Springboks is gone. It's gone. Those of us that hope to see the South African side find its way into the Six Nations, looks like it's not going to happen before 2031. And that's a sad development. The Six Nations will be dramatically improved with the Springboks in it. The window of opportunity closed. The Boks are on the outside looking in at Six Nations. 2024 Six Nations starts just 2 weeks from now, beginning February, with South Africa, which has made the transition north at club level, locked out of this international tournament. Yep. 2 years ago, it looked for certain that South Africa would enter the Six Nations, but the landscape has changed. World Rugby's introduction of the idiotic Nations League has cemented the status quo until at least 2031. And the idiotic Nations League has cemented that no team will ever rise into the top 10 except for the favored ones in the Old Boys Network. And that's a shame. Well, once again, the story about Elton Yankees, the man who was arrested for trashing a Dubai hotel room, the man who was kicked off the Springboks for his alleged affair with a trainer, the man who was tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. This is a scary story here of how this man's life is imploding. The 33-year-old now has a 4-year ban for failing a drug test a second time, and that's his career. He won't be back. 4 years. South Africa's fly half, Elton Yankees, has been given a 4-year ban following positive drugs tests. This story is such a big deal in rugby that the Irish Times is covering it. Elton Yankees, a very unreliable Springbok, but a very reliable Shark, but a very unreliable kicker as a Springbok, is done. That's it. He's toast. And ladies and gentlemen, it is with great regret that I announce the retirement of arguably one of my favorite rugby union officials, none other than the attorney, the barrister himself. Jaco Piper has announced his retirement. I sent him a personal note earlier, thanking him for his years of service as an official in rugby. He said it's been a great journey, and he hangs up his whistle. South African referee Jaco Piper, whose last match in charge was at the World Cup, has decided to retire. With just 67 test matches, that's still pretty impressive. South African rugby president Mark Alexander hailed Piper as a brilliant ambassador to the country. He last officiated a World Cup quarterfinal between Wales and Argentina in Marseille and was forced to leave the field with an injury. Remember that? That was horrible. And I guess he's decided to wrap up his career after that injury. Yep, he refereed 3 World Cup finals. He refereed 9 finals, 5 in the Currie Cup, 3 in Super Rugby, and 1 in the Champions Cup. Jaco Piper. Wow. Making his test debut back in 2011, taking charge of a match between Kenya and Zimbabwe. He said, I literally grew up next to the rugby field as my dad was a coach, and later on I played and coached the game before I took up the opportunity to go into refereeing. It's been a great journey. I've made many wonderful friends, and I've been fortunate enough to visit many fantastic places around the world. All things considered, now is perhaps the best time to step away from active refereeing to spend more time with my lovely wife and 2 beautiful daughters, as well as my growing business interest. Yep. Apart from progressing to be one of the best referees in the world during his 17-year first-class career, Jaco has also been a great ambassador for South Africa, a role model for aspiring young match officials, said Mark Alexander. Fair winds and smooth sailing to Jaco Piper as he leaves World Rugby. That's disappointing. I knew that when he pulled up lame in that game, that was not good news. That was not good news. Well, folks, World Economic Forum, Ghana's president is saying that the world needs to focus on promoting African growth. Yep, Nana Akufo-Addo told the World Economic Forum the world was structured to benefit wealthy nations. And that is a lie. The current system we have was put in place for global growth. It did benefit the developed nations because they had the resource to take advantage of using the system. However, over the past 7 decades, the world has given a fortune to the developing world, and they've pissed it down the drain with no maintenance, with theft, corruption, patronage, and poor governance. So I'm sorry, President Addo, you are simply wrong. Addressing the World Economic Forum's Advancing the New Resilience Agenda, he called for reshaping globalization because of the lessons drawn from recent years such as economic recession, climate change, and the pandemic. The world emerged from the grip of the coronavirus with energy and food prices hikes and a worldwide rise in the cost of living. Hence, the necessity for reform of the system is compelling. But that ignores the reason why worldwide prices have risen, President Addo. They haven't risen because of the pandemic. That played a measure, but prices were depressed because commerce wasn't happening. Prices spiked because of jackass Joe Biden and his war on energy and his idiotic foreign policy, which undermined global security. Wars are popping up everywhere, courtesy of the insecurity in the global system, facilitated by the corrupt regime that's allowing an invasion of this country, that attacked energy and drove energy prices up, doubling, tripling them. That's why your prices are higher. That's why there's a global recession, because of Joe Biden's stupidity, not because of COVID. We were coming out of COVID quite fine before Biden. Munir Palapala, also known as Cyril Ramaphosa, is at the Non-Aligned Nations Summit in Uganda, and nobody cares. President Ramaphosa at the forefront of the South African delegation attending the 19th Non-Aligned Movement Summit held at the Speke Resort Munyonyo Convention Center. I've been there. Nice place. Yep, according to a statement released by the presidency today, South Africa's participation in the summit is guided by 4 strategic foreign policy pillars, emphasizing advancing national interest, enhancing the African agenda, influencing global multilateral architecture reform, and promoting South-South cooperation and North-South dialogue. Well, we don't care. China and the U.S. have been sending diplomats all over Africa over the past year, trying to warm up the hearts and minds. No time to waste with China and U.S. having dispatched envoys to 10 African countries so far this year alone, not last year, this year. Both powers will have representatives at the inauguration of Democratic Republic of Congo President Tshisekedi on Saturday. China is sending a vice chairman of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, Shen Yue, and that's who's going to be there. U.S. has a bigger entourage. It will include Lucy Tamlin, the ambassador to Kinshasa, Mary Catherine Fee, the Assistant Secretary of State for the Bureau of African Affairs, and the list goes on and on and on. Well, everybody's trying to cozy up to Africa. Otto says we're ignoring Africa. Meanwhile, Grindavik in Iceland dealing with this volcano. Iceland scrambles to shelter residents made homeless by volcanic eruption. In a country of fewer than 400,000, finding places for 3,700 displaced residents is complicated by a very difficult housing market. Look at that blob. Yeah, that lava from the volcanic eruption at Grindavik on the Reykjanes Peninsula, just below Keflavik and the international airport south of Reykjavik. Wow. Crazy stuff. And there's another subscriber, Jorge Escarrera. Thank you, Jorge, for joining us. Things are not looking good for folks in Grindavik. And that's not far from Reykjavik, folks. That's pretty scary. Meanwhile, in Germany, the politicians are trying to demonize the Alternative for Deutschland, Alternative für Deutschland, the right of center party. German far-right party assailed over a report of extremist meaning. Well, the media thinks that this is going to make them less popular. It's probably going to make them more popular. Germany's governing parties assailed a resurgent far-right opposition party on Thursday over a report that extremists recently met to discuss deportation of millions of immigrants, including some with German citizenship, which has led to a string of protests. The media outlet Corrective last week reported on the alleged far-right meeting in November, which it said was attended by figures from the extremist identitarian movement and from the Alternative for Germany, which is in Parliament. A prominent member of the identitarian movement, Austrian citizen Martin Sellner, presented his remigration vision for deportations. National polls currently show the AfD in second place with 20% of the vote in Germany. Now, the AfD, for its part, has distanced itself from the meeting. Quite frankly, if people are meeting discussing the removal of people who have no legitimate business being in a sovereign nation, that's not extreme right. That's the rule of law. And calling them right-wing, maybe they are. But that position is not right-wing. That is the rule of law. Adhering to the rule of law is not left. It's not right. It's the rule of law. Yeah, so there you go, folks. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Peterson, the Canadian psychologist, is being sent to the Gulag, to a re-education camp. And he pushed back. Following the denial of his legal appeal, prominent psychologist Jordan Peterson launched a vigorous public response in Canada this week. His appeal contested mandatory social media training imposed by the College of Psychologists in Ontario. Peterson is now being mandated to participate in educational programming as a punishment for his online speech. The psychologist's defiance against Ontario College's directive had not just threatened the potential loss of his professional accreditation, but consequently led to its attempts to re-educate him. In a response shared on Twitter, an undeterred Peterson announced, a higher court in Canada has ruled that the Ontario College of Psychologists indeed has the right to sentence me to re-education camp. There are no other legal avenues open to me now. He continued, maintaining his professional independence and unwillingness to lose, he said, it's capitulate to the petty bureaucrats and the addle-padded woke mob or lose my professional license. He said, congratulations, you won this round. Mark my words, however, the war has barely started. There is nothing you can take from me that I'm unwilling to lose. So watch out. Seriously, you've been warned. Ooh, it's on like Donkey Kong. Jordan Peterson trying to stop the Soviet re-education experts in Ontario. This is the kind of nonsense. This is a highly acclaimed psychologist. And because they say things he doesn't like that undermine their leftist agenda, they go after him. Jordan Peterson. Stand with Jordan Peterson. I stand with Jordan Peterson. I didn't even know who the guy was until a few years ago and people kept talking about him. Yep. The court had previously authorized the psychologist organization to impose social media training on Peterson last August. The decree placed not just an administrative burden to undergo re-education, but also financial one, as the Ontario Superior Court of Justice billed him $25,000 for the training. What a scam. What a scam. What a scam. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas authorities have begun arresting criminal alien invaders. Yeah, it's about time. At a park near the U.S.-Mexico border. Texas authorities arrested criminal alien invaders at Shelby Park in Eagle Pass late Wednesday evening and charged them with criminal trespassing, marking the first arrest of criminal alien invaders since the state took control of the area at the U.S.-Mexico border last week. Of course, they failed to mention this is state-owned land. The arrests were announced by Lieutenant Chris Olivares of the Texas Department of Public Safety on social media, where he posted videos showing migrants being handcuffed and taken away by authorities. Single adult criminal alien invaders, men and women, were taken into custody, while criminal alien invader families, or purported families with their children, were sent to the federal government, who no doubt released them into the wild. Yep. So, U.S. forces have struck back at the Houthi once again in Yemen, as Biden says Allied action hasn't yet stopped ship attacks. Duh, thank you for that in news flash there, Joe. U.S. forces on Thursday conducted a fifth strike against Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. Yep, the latest strikes destroyed 2 Houthi anti-ship missiles that were aimed in the southern Red Sea and prepared to launch. Well, that is not going to end anytime soon. A Republican congressman accuses the Department of Justice of hiding footage of January 6th, a cover-up. The congressman accused the Department of Justice of hiding evidence of undercover agents involved in U.S. Capitol riot. Representative Clay Higgins says the Justice Department is withholding exculpatory evidence from police video and audio recordings that reveal hundreds of undercover law enforcement officers were among the rioters at the U.S. Capitol building and helped incite the attack. He's seeking more than a closed-circuit security footage from Capitol riot. He wants the DOJ to make public police body camera footage, cell phone video, GoPro recordings, and transcripts of preserved police radio traffic. To the extent that I've been able to put my own two eyes on some of the evidence, there's a common thread that is woven amongst the evidence that DOJ conceals, the Louisiana Republican said. The common thread, according to him, is the FBI and Justice Department lawyers using video to prosecute January 6 protesters, but refusing to identify people caught on the same video engaged in the same activity. He suspects the rioters protected by the feds are undercover agents and informants. He said, I have had to access to some of the discovery evidence that some smart attorneys have forced the DOJ to release within the parameters of that criminal case. Wow. So I don't know if there's evidence of that, but he has a very fair point. In a court case, when people are on a video and the defendant's attorneys say, well, why aren't the people there doing the same action being prosecuted? Who are they? And the Department of Justice will not identify them. That raises a very serious concern about the legitimacy of the footage and about whether, in fact, there were federal actors present. I don't know that there were. I'm not making that claim. But I can tell you there were people who are not Trump supporters who were there that day trying to incite the crowd. And they were ignored for the most part. The Biden administration continues its criminal rogue activity, this time trying to forgive $4.9 billion in student debt for deadbeats, 73,000 deadbeats. The Biden administration announced Friday it would forgive $4.9 billion in student debt for 73,600 borrowers. The relief is a result of the U.S. Department of Education's fixes to its income-driven repayment plans and public service loan forgiveness program. That's nonsense. Public service loan forgiveness. Pay your loans back. Around $1.7 billion of the aid will go to 29,000 borrowers enrolled in the income-driven repayment plans. 43,900 borrowers who have worked in public service for at least a decade will receive $3.2 billion in loan cancellation under the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. These are people making $60,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year working for the federal government, and they want their loans forgiven? Surveillance overreach, folks. This from Reclaim the Net. Federal investigators have asked banks to search transactions related to the phrases, keywords MAGA and Trump. Investigation shows feds suggest the purchase of religious textbooks could indicate extremism. Wow. And this is the letter. This is shocking, folks. Unbelievable. This was released by Jim Jordan yesterday. Unbelievable. Following the events of January 6th, the department provided search terms to banks to identify Treasury Department transactions on behalf of federal law enforcement. These materials suggested generic words to search for Zelle payments amidst other instructions. Now, in here, I'm trying to find it. It's not telling me here, but there it is. The committee report further revealed that investigators suggested banks filter transactions using keywords such as names of popular merchandise stores, including Dick's Sporting Goods, Bass Pro Shops, and Cabela's, and saying that religious texts were a sign of extremism and a danger to the public. This is not a warrant. This is not reasonable search and seizure. This is the government telling banks to act as an agent of the federal government to spy on Americans in violation of the Constitution. This is protected speech. And these criminals in the federal government are spying on Americans. And there's no consequences to this. It is time to end this garbage. Speaking garbage, the CEO of the Center for Democracy and Technology laments the fact that there's an injunction against the Biden regime weakening its censorship power. This clown right there, Alexandra Reeve Givens, showed up at the World Economic Forum to cry that they can't censor Americans. So in the United States, for example, right now we have congressional investigations and lawsuits against people that study misinformation about elections on social media platforms. She's unhappy that we're investigating misinformation organizations because they spread misinformation. Well, Congress has passed a last-minute stopgap bill to avert another government shutdown. It would have started at midnight tonight, 12:01 tomorrow, Saturday. short-term spending bill in the House, so it's got to go to the Senate. The president expects to sign the bill when it reaches his desk, if they can wake him up. If they can wake Joe up in time to stop it. Avoiding the shutdown is very good news for the country, for our veterans, for parents and children, for farmers and small business, all of whom would have felt the sting had the government shut down, said Chucky Schumer. And this is what the American people want to see. Both sides working together and governing responsibly. No chaos, no spectacle, no shutdown. No, we don't. We want to see responsible spending. We want to see our border secured. We want to see leftists taken out. We want to see girls use girls' bathrooms and boys use boys' bathrooms. We want to see people speak English in an English-speaking country. We want to see reason restored to our nation. That's what we want, Mitch, Chuck. We don't want your garbage. Wow. 107 Republicans supported the bill. Well, the crippled Peregrine mission is returning to Earth and is going to burn up in the atmosphere, folks. At least that's the plan. Crippled American spaceship set to burn up in the atmosphere over a remote region of the South Pacific today, bringing a fiery end to its failed mission to land on the moon. Astrobotics Peregrine lander was launched on January 8th, but the fuel leak doomed the mission. Yep. So, at 2100 Greenwich Mean Time, it is set to burn up. 2100 Greenwich Mean Time. 5 hours ahead of here. So late this afternoon. Wow. Spirit Airlines in jeopardy going bankrupt after a corrupt federal government at the behest of the Department of Justice tried to stop the merger of JetBlue and Spirit. Spirit now has twice been prevented from a merger, once with Frontier and now with JetBlue. So the federal government has consigned this company to bankruptcy, most likely. Some investors and analysts said the airline might have to seek bankruptcy if it couldn't find another buyer. Spirit Airlines, once a fast-growing low-cost carrier, is struggling to convince investors it has a clear path forward after an antitrust ruling blocked the sale of the company to JetBlue. Before a deal struck with JetBlue back in 2022, Spirit was struggling. Unlike larger airlines, it never fully recovered from the early days of the pandemic. The budget airline is losing money, and some analysts say it's hard to see how Spirit can dig itself out of its financial hole with the exception of finding another buyer. May have to file for bankruptcy protection. There are its share prices, which plummeted yesterday, but recovered today as people speculation buying. Yep. So down to $5 yesterday, and a bunch of people bought it now, so the price has spiked today. Spirit Airlines. A concealed carry holder has prevented what happened in South Africa. What happens in South Africa comes to America, folks, inevitably. We're talking about the Winterfeld Facebook crimes and the murder of Facebook marketplace, and now even happening in Joburg. Well, now this has also found its way to America, folks. A licensed concealed carry holder in Illinois found himself in a gunfight when a group of men tried to rob him, and one of those men died on the scene. The man and the companion met with several armed men on Monday who were allegedly selling a vehicle via Facebook Marketplace, according to the Peoria Police Department. However, the arranged meeting appears to have been a robbery setup. Upon arrival at the meeting location, the two individuals were directed to a nearby alley to view the purported vehicle. Investigations determined that this was an attempted robbery setup, and there was no intention to sell the vehicle. Once in the alley, several armed suspects attempted to rob the individuals. A struggle ensued, and shots were fired by the robbery suspects and one of the individuals who was being robbed. One of the robbery suspects died on the scene after being struck by gunfire. Good. The robbery victim who fired the weapon was a legal gun owner with a license to carry a firearm from another state. This individual was released from police custody without charge, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. He defended himself. Otherwise, he'd be dead now. Concealed carry. Open carry. Licensed firearms with competent people. And that's the reason that man's alive today. South Africa brings its garbage to America. Now we've got the same thing. Facebook Marketplace, attempted murders and robberies taking place right here in America, folks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, roughly 1/4 of the money spent by the Pentagon during the Rona scam was fraudulent. That's right, 1/4 of the money. An estimated 26% of purchases by the Department of Defense reported as supporting the Rona response went to unrelated items, according to an Inspector General report released yesterday. Former President Trump's 2020 memo in response to the pandemic gave DoD officials the ability to increase the limit on government charge cards from 10,000 to 35,000. Cardholders used the increased limit to make unrelated purchases on items from shipping to food and sometimes failed to produce receipts or get the required approvals before making purchase. Inspector General randomly sampled 127 purchases from a total of 110,000 made between March of 2020 and January 2022, equaling $239 million in expenses. Of those, 33 did not appear to support the policy on COVID, and 45 failed to meet all the documentation requirements. If that's a representative sample, then up to 53 million meant to support the response may have been used for other purposes. For example, the Army spent $2,394 to dig up a pipe in the process of determining the cause of a sinkhole. They labeled it as a COVID-19 purchase. Army officials maintain the Army did not actually pay for the plumbing service using funds approved. No, that's not the point. The Air Force spent $4,158 on a Nordic exercise bike and mats. Other purchases were smaller, like $405 for a sit and stand desk for Army personnel and $151.99 for finance training. Cardholders wrote off shipping, food, vehicle maintenance purchases, and other miscellaneous purchases, none of which was for COVID-19. COVID-19. It was all fraud. Military got away with it. No oversight. Donovan McNabb calls out the media for its shameful conduct in censoring a Christian. And since he's black, people will listen. Donovan McNabb calls NBC decision to chop up C.J. Stroud's interview disrespectful. The latest episode of his program, he said that NBC's decision to censor Houston Texans rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud after he gave thanks to Jesus Christ for his team's playoff win over the Cleveland Browns last weekend. Stroud's comments aired in full live on NBC. However, the network removed part where he expressed his religious convictions for a social media post, and he called him out. And Donovan McNabb said, I'm a Christian, right? But as a Christian, I recognize the media in the United States of America and really throughout the world hates for some reason. I'm not going to say why. They hate Jesus. They hate the mention of Jesus unless you're using it as a swear word. They hate the propagation of Jesus, and they hate the idea that people might, push salvation through Jesus. He also questioned whether or not NBC would have let that moment hit the cutting floor room had Stroud been mentioning any other non-Christian figures. Wow. His co-host said it was also offensive for NBC to edit out sentiments shared by millions of people in the U.S. and billions worldwide. And so it's offensive. Yeah, I'm offended. I'm totally offended. Yep, Donovan McNabb standing up for C.J. Stroud. And the attack on Christians continues in this corrupt country. Well, ladies and gentlemen, turning to rugby news here in America, Major League Rugby announces a new franchise. After losing the New York franchise, there is a new one now. World Rugby gets a North Carolina team. All right. Anthem Rugby Carolina, based in Charlotte, will field American players in an attempt to grow the domestic game. That means that the league now has 12 teams once again after losing the Toronto and the New York franchises. So we're back to 2 conferences, 6 teams per conference, including a Charlotte team. And they will play in the 2024 season, which is just a few weeks away. This new team will play this season. They're not going to sit out a season and wait. Speaking of that, the new kit for Major League Rugby's 11 existing teams was announced last week. And here they are, images of all the jerseys for the teams. Wow. The Free Jacks, Miami Sharks, got a pink jersey there. The Dallas Jackals, Utah Warriors, Chicago Hounds, Houston SaberCats. Yeah, look at that, man. San Diego Legion. Old Glory has a very similar jersey to what they had previously. And Nola Gold's jersey is pretty similar. But Chicago Hounds have a new looking one. And the Dallas Jackals have a new looking one. And the SaberCats, theirs is nice too. So that's the new kit for Major League Rugby for the coming season, just a few weeks away. And Major League Rugby and USA Rugby collaborate to launch the Hawks program, a centralized squad development to elevate qualified players from the U.S. Major League Rugby and USA Rugby today announced the assembly of the Hawks, a men's 15s developmental squad set to compete in 8 exhibition matches starting in March 4th against Super Rugby America clubs and other international development sides. And here's the schedule. The Hawks will play on March 4th, 10th, 15th, 6th of April, 15th April, 21st April, and 29th of April. They'll be playing in Santiago, Chile, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and then the last 4 games in Charlotte, North Carolina. They'll be playing Selknam, Pampas, Deserolo, Cobras, Brazil, Argentina under 20, Argentina under 20, and Yaquer. And here's the list of young players that appear on this. Some of them are already in Major League Rugby. For instance, Kyle Fulton plays for the Dallas Jackals, Colson Warner for Utah Warriors, and so on. And some of them are also have USA Rugby Pathways, the under-20s, and the Rugby Academy and such. So there's the team. None of these players I'm really all that familiar with because they're young players. DeMonte Noble, we know him from Old Glory. Yep, he plays on the Eagles. Yeah, but the rest of them, most of them we don't know. But big development for Major League Rugby here in the States. So there you have it, folks. That is the news for today, the 19th of January, 2024. And thank you all for being here. Why do you think so many people love Julius Malema? People don't love Julius Malema, Michael Holmes. The number of people that love Julius Malema is dwarfed by the number of people that find him a reprehensible troll. if you're asking why he has popularity when he goes to events, it's because he spews hatred. And a lot of people, quite frankly, are racist in South Africa. They love his hatred. They love his call to murder white people. They also love the fact that he blames white people for the failure of South Africa when it's the ANC who bears all responsibility for the current economic malaise, the poor state of education, the rampant crime and criminality in South Africa. It's the ANC responsible for that. You can blame apartheid forever. It doesn't change the fact that you're responsible for it. They've had 30 years. They inherited a functioning society with the only major thing that the ANC inherited that was a problem, that was a bit unfair, is they inherited a massive amount of debt. They did. They inherited a lot of debt, and they started paying it down to their credit. But beyond that, everything was functioning. They just had to fix things and maintain. They didn't maintain anything, and they broke things. So, no, Julius Malema is popular because the media props him up for whatever reason. I have no idea why they do that. And also because there are a lot of racists in South Africa. And beyond that, it's quite frankly, it's because he tells people what they want to hear. Anybody that tells you what you want to hear is going to be popular. Whether they accomplish, I mean, just look at the facts. The EFF said, we're building a school for kids in the Eastern Cape. If we don't build it, within 5 years, you can throw us out. Well, they haven't even started the school. They're just frauds. All right, so let's get back to some of the comments here and see what I've missed here in the chat. Ken says, yeah, go Chris. What's that? Well, I'm missing something. John Legend's back again. Is he trolling? Let's see. EFF are the winners. They got Carl and the Nine Horse. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Steve, that's a big win for them. Folks in the Cape are in general liberal. That's true. There should be 2 or 3 political parties to vote for, not 30 parties. They're all in it. Well, there are over 500 political parties that are going to run in this election in South Africa. And then what else? Ken says somebody was never good. Piper was not a good ref. Ken and the scientist said he was a great referee. He was a great referee. I disagree with you there. Those are opinions. We all have them. Okay. Ghana sold their magnificent growth part of the course and then asking for debt forgiveness. Exactly, Chris Swanepoel. Africa is being used and taken advantage of and has been for centuries. Okay. Sure. Jay Legend. Who's taking advantage of it? Who's taking it? China? Okay. I'll buy that. Sedgefield's back. How you doing, Sedgefield? Many people at work, and they do the clicking language when joking around. Okay? And Miss Puma says what they're doing to Jordan Peterson is insane. It absolutely is insane. It absolutely is insane. And they shouldn't have the authority to do it. Does BlackRock have any investments in South Africa? Heard many bad things about them. Well, George, people say a lot of bad things about BlackRock. They act like it's some entity. But what people fail to realize is BlackRock is an investment company that has clients, and it invests their money, not BlackRock's money, the client's money into investments around the world. Now, that doesn't mean BlackRock is blameless or shameless, or without shame, I should say. They certainly have shame for some of the things they do, but they probably, I'm sure they have investments for their clients in South Africa. They have them all over the world, but we'd have to take a look at. By the way, BlackRock was interested in me working there. I went to BlackRock a few years ago and met with them, but I wasn't interested. All right. Peterson isn't what he was 5 or 10 years. I wouldn't trust him in recent times as Alter Bridge. Okay. He got really sick and isn't the same anymore. Okay. Well, you can get a 22-year sentence when you were not even at the protests. Epps gets a year's probation. Exactly. He's a guy called for attacking the building. And then he was there. Princess Kate is in the hospital for stomach. That's a shame. BlackRock is the vulture fund business. How so, Chris? What vulture fund? Vulture funds are company. They are leveraged buyout firms, which is not what BlackRock is. Leveraged buyout firms like KKR, Kohlberg, Kravis, and Roberts, KKR, buy distressed companies with the express purpose of breaking them apart and selling the parts and making money. That's what a vulture company is. So, crippled like Americans in general. Not a fan of South Africa these days because of the Gaza position. Hey, Roger, yeah, a lot of people feel that way. Yeah, South Africa is the testing grounds for America. Yep. Indeed, in the hospital following abdominal surgery, which appears to be quite serious. She's likely to be in hospital for 2 weeks. Wow, that's crazy. What happened there? ANC is not South Africans. I disagree with my government. Yep. We're not fighting a good fight, says Roger Rabbit. Okay. Rugby union is my favorite rugby. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Shows you who runs the media. No Princess Eric. Alter Bridge, stop being a turd. Stop being a turd. I didn't know that you're covering NFL with all the Major League Rugby teams and pathways programs. Why the Eagles take a step back? Menage a trois, I don't cover the NFL. Number one, their corrupt system of preventing people from watching their games is always irritating me. I had to used to pay, when I was a fan, I had to succumb to paying for DirecTV so I could watch my team's games. And then the other problem is that they're race hustling and they're outright lies. By the way, I was wrong. What the NFL has as a minimum salary for rookies isn't $465,000. It's like $700,000+ now. They've raised it considerably since the last time I looked a few years ago. No, I don't cover it because I can't get it. I mean, I would love to watch the Colts games, as terrible as they are, and do what I do for Rugby Ascendant, but do that in Colts games. People are doing that now. They've started doing it this year. I've seen people, and they get a lot of views, and I'd love to do that too, but I can't watch Colts games because they're blacked out here. So that's corrupt, and I'm not going to pay for DirecTV. It sucks. Roger Rabbit says, salute me. Well, thank you for that. I have a bunch of royalty at tribes. No, Alter Bridge. You're just trying to be funny here. All right. Love water polo. Okay. Whites put black puppets in and act like they did nothing. Really? So white people put Cyril Ramaphosa in office and Thabo Mbeki and Nelson Mandela. White people put him in power, and they were puppets? Oh, please. Come on. You can troll better than that, legend. Val says, I missed the starter stream. Have you any comments to reference locomotive shortage to run the... I covered that a couple days ago. They're ceasing the route. They announced with great fanfare they're going to cover this route, and in a month or 3 weeks of covering it, they've only had 5 trips. So the route is being shut down. They don't have any locomotives. It's just more example of how corrupt and inefficient and inept Transnet is in South Africa. Coob says, if you're looking for toxic liberals, Central Pretoria is a candidate, but otherwise pretty good people. Yeah, Pretoria's pretty good. Anyone here support January 6th? Support what about January 6th, Roger? What are you talking about? Support the Constitution? Absolutely. I support the Constitution, the right of the people to peacefully assemble. The First Amendment to the Constitution, I support that 100%. Yes. So you have to be very specific. I don't support people breaking into a building and trashing a building. That's not legal actions. So I don't support that. But the First Amendment to the Constitution says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The Capitol Police issued 5 permits for groups to protest their grievances with the federal government on the 6th of January, 2021. And over 250,000 people, possibly many more, gathered that day in front of the steps of the Capitol building on the west side of the building, on the mall, to show that they weren't happy by peacefully gathering. A handful of people committed crimes and should be prosecuted. But people aren't being prosecuted, people are being persecuted. And that is a disgrace. It flies in the face of a democracy, and it is wrong. Yep. Yes, the Hungarians are amazing in water polo. A U.S. university degree should award Peterson a license. Well, that licenses are done by organizations, so he'd have to be licensed here. But he probably has to meet some requirements. Go Bills, down the NFL, the NFL management. White people did technically put them in power, Chris, because they allow blacks to vote. Well, I mean, that's a stretch if you want to say that. Yeah, I suppose. What else have I missed here? Okay. Anyway, there's people chatting back and forth about whether people are okay or not. We got a little bit of super chat revenue. We got 5 new members, so courtesy of Janssen van Rensburg. We got a super chat there. I think it was from Erica. We got 85 likes. We've talked about a lot. I want to go over and check on what's been happening since we've come on the program. We're up to 14,053. We keep gaining subscribers. That's some good news here. And let me take a look at the video we did earlier. Well, I did earlier, the live broadcast. It's taking a long time to come up here. YouTube is being difficult, as usual. 67 people. Is somebody else on right now? Everybody just disappeared. It's 8 o'clock in South Africa. Did Big Daddy Liberty suddenly start broadcasting again? What's going on? People are disappearing. Did an episode of Baywatch come on? Everybody disappeared to go watch Baywatch? Oh, come on. It still hasn't found the page. This is ridiculous. Having a nuanced view on January 6th will make you an outsider on both sides of the aisle, sadly. Well, I don't have a nuanced view. I have the facts. That's what I have. So, yep. Okay. It says I lost a subscriber. The video I did earlier, it's at 1,300 views. The one I did earlier, the live stream. Cool. That's a bit more than one we're currently on. Currently here it says we've had 349 viewers. So, yeah, with the news. Don't forget to mention Asian women while talking about race. Have you seen those roads? What? Probably load shedding. Could be. Yeah, a lot of people lost. 8 o'clock, you're right. Load shedding, we lose a lot of people. Don't the Oppenheimer sponsor the ANC? I have no idea if they do sponsor the ANC. I don't know. By the way, folks, as a reminder, tomorrow we've got three rugby games going on. I'm calling 3 games tomorrow for the Challenge and Champions Cup. We've got the Bulls. Let me see. Let me schedule there. Do I still have that up? Let me see real quick. There it is, I think. Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow at 8 o'clock my time, we have the Bulls versus Bordeaux. Then we have Oyonnax versus the Cheetahs. And then we have Stade Francais in Paris versus the Stormers. And on Sunday, it's the Lions versus the Osprey and the Dragons versus the Sharks. Sunday's games probably won't attract much in the way of an audience, but I think as long as my provider puts it on air on time, the Bulls, Bordeaux, and the Stade Francais Stormers should do very well. So hopefully people will tune in for that, and I'll get some rest tonight and be ready to call those games tomorrow. Yeah, so that's on Rugby Ascendant, so looking forward to that. And thanks to everybody who's been watching the content. It's really nice to see a little bit of traction taking place here. It's something we had back in October, and we had in September and again in October. Yep. So yeah, we're doing pretty well. We've been averaging over 1,000. Oh, I've had a carbon monoxide and fire alarm battery die, and they don't just give you light and tell you they're broken. They do that annoying chirp every so often, like you're supposed to know where it's at. It's the dumbest system ever created. I mean, if you have an alarm that's not working, you should get a light that flashes and an audible alert occasionally, but a light that flashes constantly. So you have to guess where it's at because you can't hear it. And I have a relatively large house, and I replaced one of the batteries earlier, and now I've got another one making noise. So what time is the Stormers game? Well, the Stormers game is supposed to be at 12:30 my time, Garrett, which will be 7:30 your time. That's when it's supposed to be. I think that's when the game is. In fact, the problem I've got is that my provider is listing the games incorrectly. Again, they did the same thing last week. So let's see what they've got listed for tomorrow. Today we got games coming up in a couple hours. That's Scarlets in Edinburgh, Connacht in Bristol, Glasgow versus Toulonnais, and Gloucester versus Castres Olympique. So tomorrow, they've got the Bulls on at 10. It's not on at 10. This is crazy. I got to write to these idiots again. Their time is incorrect. Oh my goodness, it's so annoying. So annoying. 21st, they got the wrong times on here again. 20th. Tomorrow they have the Bulls still on at 10 o'clock. It's not on at 10 o'clock. It's on at 8 o'clock. So I got to write to them. Last time it took them 3 days to answer me, and then they told me they corrected it. Oh, my goodness. Anyway. All right, folks. Yeah, so hopefully we can get it sorted out. But yeah, that's the 5 games this weekend. 2 a.m. here, so keep in mind I'm 12 beers ahead of the rest. 2 a.m. Well, 2 a.m. is Perth. So 2 a.m. is Perth, Alter Bridge. That's where 2 a.m. is at right now. Excuse me. Pain there. Free all January 6ers as well as the tapes, which Tucker was not allowed to do, plus find the missing prosecution documents. Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing is just a fraud. I mean, the January 6th commission was just a total whitewash. I mean, they destroyed all the evidence. How could they not be in jail for that? That's unbelievable. So they presented, altered evidence. They presented cherry-picked evidence, and they hid exculpatory evidence, which has kept people in jail, which has put people in jail, hiding exculpatory evidence. Not cool. But that's what they did. Folks, we've got snow here in central Pennsylvania, and I'm going to have to go shovel before the day's over. It's still early, but I will have to shovel. Dylan says not here. Well, I know you don't have snow there. It's summertime in South Africa. So, yeah, but folks here in Pennsylvania, we've been buffeted by snow over the past week. This is the second big snowstorm we've had. Some people have gotten a lot more snow, particularly in higher elevations. But even here, 4 inches the other day. I think it's supposed to be 3 to 5 inches today. So the snow hadn't gone away, but we had got the roads clean, and I did have my solar panels clean. But they're covered in snow right now. I can tell you that because just 125 watts. Yikes. And even yesterday, the panels were clear, but the sky was cloudy. I still managed to get 7 kilowatt hours. The day before, when the snow melted and slid all at once off the roof at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, in those 3 hours, I got 13.7. But not a great week for collecting solar panel, that's for sure. Online beer contest between Chris Swanepoel and Alter Bridge. What's this? They're having a beer contest. Oh, they're having an online beer contest. Gotcha. Anyway. Yep. So, Perth. I have not been to Perth for the World Cup. They'll probably come out, and I'm sure there'll be games in Perth. So I have to figure that one out. World Cup in Australia. That'll be coming up. It's too hot, says Dylan. Yeah, I know. I'm not there. You see, I'm here in the wintertime. Last year, I came to South Africa in late January. I won't be doing that this year because that was like next week when I came last year. But I won't be coming next week. So that's not going to happen. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. You guys got any questions about anything? Woke Australia. Yeah, Australia definitely is woke, that's for sure. But so many places are woke now. Erica says she'd rather shovel snow than sweat in the heat. Well, I agree. Not just tonight, but every time I join, it's after midnight. I pull a piss in bad manners thinking I'm funny. I'm really a sensible guy at work in the daytime. I'm sure you are, Alter Bridge. I'm sure you are. And I'm really glad that you're on at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's, we've been on for an hour and a half, so you came on 1 o'clock, 12:30 in the morning. That's very kind of you. Appreciate it. A meet and greet for you in Perth. Yeah, no, Perth would be a great place to do a meet and greet. It'd be fantastic. But we want to target that audience before I go there. So Chris is drinking whiskey, I guess. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be interesting, that online beer contest. But I actually got this. I ordered a new Christmas tree. Did I tell you guys that I ordered a new Christmas tree? I had a artificial tree which I purchased in Italy back in 1997, and that tree lasted from Italy. From Italy, I went to California, and from California, I went to Tunisia. From Tunisia, I went to Fort Meade, Maryland. From there, I went to Botswana with the tree. I didn't have the tree everywhere. I had it in Botswana. From Botswana, I went to Virginia with it. From Virginia, I went to Germany with it. From Germany, I went to Rwanda with it. From Rwanda, I went, from Uganda, to Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, I went to Pennsylvania, and I forgot Botswana. 11 different residences. That tree lasted from 1997 until this year when it fell over on me and the base is bent, so I had to replace it. So I bought a new tree. Let me see if I can find the tree and show you the picture of what my new tree will look like. Okay, hang on a second here. Downloads, there we go. Open a new window. Come on. Actually, there's a quicker way for me to do it, but let me just see if I can't find it this way. Let me do this. Okay, quicker way. Okay, where's it at? Where is it at? Thanks for your order. That's the one I want. Here's my order. Okay, any day now. Oh, the internet's suddenly slow. What's going on here? So this is the tree I ordered. Okay. Ah, crap. Well, it's not working so well here. No, it's not working so well. I got to do this here. So it's a, was it 7.5 foot tree? Come on, stupid computer. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, this is a 7.5 foot unlit northern fir tree. So this is the one I purchased, and I'll be using it next year. It's supposed to arrive, should have come today, but the snow is not going to happen, so not going to happen today. So there you go. Okay, so that's the one right there. That's the tree. What do you guys think? That looks pretty cool. That's not my house. That's a tree from online. But that's what the tree looks like. 7.5 foot tall. Should be pretty cool. So that's the one I'll have for next year. After the previous one lasted 27 years. Wow, 27 years. That's a long time, man. 27 years. 27 years. Pretty crazy. How often you put sunblock on, Chris? I've started doing fitness training for the boys at school near me and realize how quick I get red. I don't use, I try to avoid sunblock. I don't like it at all. I don't like greasy feeling on my skin. I don't like sweating. But yeah, it's sometimes necessary. And I paid for that. Remember last year, let me find, I can find that picture. I got fried. Let me see. It's going to be, I think it's going to be here. Hang on. When I went up on the reservoir there in Northwest and I got fried. Let me see. Looking for my phone. There we go. That's going to be February of last year. Yeah, February last year. Let me find when I was out on the reservoir. Where's it at? Come on, it's got to be here somewhere. That's Western Cape. I'm not finding it here yet. It's all Western Cape. Come on, man. How many pictures I got here? It wasn't January when I was up there, was it? No. Okay, that's in Haotang. So she'll be around here this time frame here. Nope, not there yet. Huh, I'm not finding it. Oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. So, oh my goodness. Remember this? Okay, so this is me without sunscreen out on the reservoir out there in Northwest Province on the, tooling around. That was a year ago. The wind blowing. You can always see my face is kind of red. Look at my arm. You can see it's not red. It's kind of lighter skin there. My arm exposed. Anyway, so I don't like sunblock, but yeah, it's necessary. You should wear it at times, but I don't like wearing it. So let me see. So I really got fried after this. Hang on a second. There you go. This is me out on the lake. Check this out. Yeah, clouds are very deceiving. You can actually get burnt worse in a cloudy sky than you can, and sometimes in sunlight because you don't avoid, you don't know. People, no, clouds can be very bad. So, but I'm well aware of it after. But let me go forward a little bit and see where I can see myself after this. You can see I'm burnt. Oh, here you go. Here you can see me just absolutely red lobstered. Look at this. This is me red lobstered with a squirrel on my shoulder. Check this out. Now that's that's like a day later. That was a day after I was on that boat. Look at that. I look like a lobster, man. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely fried. Look at that. I was toasted. Oh, my goodness. So fried. Look at that. Man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Yep. Look at that. Oof. Baby. Absolutely fried. Look at my face now compared to... Look at the face now. And look at that. Oof. Man, I got fried. And I had no sunscreen. That's a day I regret not putting sunscreen on. Absolutely, no doubt about it. 100%. I regret not having sunscreen on that day. It was a bad decision. But again, I didn't realize we were going to be out as long as we were, and I didn't realize we were going to spend time. I was actually mostly okay, but then about 3/4 of the way through it, they stopped in the middle of the reservoir, and we sat down and we had a few, soft drinks and relaxed. Before we went back to anti-poaching operations, and I absolutely got fried. There was no cover. I was stuck in the sun. Yep. And that's right. The water also reflects the sun back up on you, so you get a double whammy there. Yeah. So it's terrible. R1 says that's me now. Yeah. It's not good. You can get skin cancer from that. The top or the leading cause of death historically in Australia has been skin cancer, melanoma, because a lot of white folks in Australia, and they're just out in the sun all the time. They get fried. Yeah, well, it's not just Africa, Dylan. I get fried like that all over the world. So, I'm very light-skinned. So, yep. Anyway, that's what happens. That's what happens, folks. 90 likes. We're getting close to 100 there. Oh, can we inch up to 100? I'm sure that everybody's here has probably already hit the like button, but can we get there? Let me take a look and see if people are still watching the content. We had some subscribers popping on earlier. That was kind of fun. So, dashboard. Let's see. We're at 14,056 now. Okay, it's 3 more subscribers from the last time we looked. And that Franz Cronier video, let's see what it says. Let's see what they say. Franz Cronier. And that one is, well, 1,500 now, according to this. Let me see if that's still correct. I'll reload the page. Yep, 1,500. Okay, still going. 753. So half the views that come in the 60 minutes that I've been on here. So people are watching that video while we're live streaming. That's pretty cool. That's when you know your channel's getting some traction again, when people are watching your videos while you're live streaming as well. Well, I don't know. We say 50%. We have SPF, sun protection factor, or whatever, and I use like 50 or 90 or something like that. Yep. Pulled on a tube around a ski boat, got my heads caught the ropes. I got pulled her out there. Oh, that sucks, Charles. That sucks. You wanted to become an instant local. My surfer mates always laugh at the tourists wanting to tan. I have no interest in tanning whatsoever. I don't like the sun. That big flaming ball of hot gas in the sky, it brings us life, but it's also very deadly. I'm not a fan. I've never been a person lying on the beach. You get a suntan. I don't care for tans. I usually have a farmer's tan. Yeah, see a little bit of farmer's tan there. See how white it is up here, and then you see the brown there. Yep. So, of course, that's also got a lot of freckles on it. So that's one reason. But the freckles are up here too. So there you go. See, look at those freckles. Anyway, talking of News 24, is it not their holding company, Prime Media? Well, I don't know if Prime Media is their holding company. I thought News 24 is the holding company. Let's take a look at their website. Okay, News 24. Okay, let me go to News 24 and see what they say at the bottom. MK prepares for Zuma rally in fertile Eastern Cape. ANC dares it to set up shop. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so Media 24, about us, okay? Our team of 100 journalists are based in Cape Town, Joburg, Pretoria, yada, 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 okay. It's owned by Media 24. That's who I thought it was. Yeah. Naspers, yeah, they're part of Naspers, not Prime Media. Naspers, yep. So Media 24 is owned by Naspers, is part of Naspers, a multinational group of media and e-commerce platforms. Of course, the editor-in-chief is Adrien Basson. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Yep. News 24 politics editor is Kanita Hunter. He gets a few things right, but not all of it. Yep. Proud displays the fair stamp of Press Council of South Africa, indicating our commitment to adhere to the Code of Ethics for Print and Online Media, which prescribes that a reportage is truthful, accurate, and fair. It's not. It's not truthful, accurate, and fair. The fact-checking on Franz Cronier is flawed, deeply, deeply flawed. Neville Becker's just subscribed. Hey, thank you, Neville. Bye, donkey. Yeah, sunstroke. Well, that's terrible. I had heat. You mean heat stroke? Yeah, people have heat stroke. They're Naspers. Yeah, Naspers. Yeah, thank you, Miss Pumba. Yeah. The power's out, so R1's out of here. So the load shedding's hitting everybody now. Foster's is so gross. Foster's beer. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah. I tried it. Ugh, that's horrible. Horrible stuff. You do know you can buy non-greasy sunblock. Yeah, you can, Miss Pumba, but I don't like putting stuff on my skin. To wear sunscreen, regrets wear on my butt crack when concrete. Oh, my goodness, I'm fishing wearing a hat. Yeah, I got you. I did, Sharon. I did fry like a beetroot, man. I was taking the advice of Dr. Beetroot to avoid HIV, to avoid AIDS. What's your drink of choice? Do you mean alcohol? Menage a trois? Could you clarify? Do you mean alcohol or non-alcoholic? Do you drink Dr. Pepper? It tastes like cough syrup. I'm not a fan of Dr. Pepper. I've drank it in my youth a little bit. It does taste like cough syrup. Not my favorite. I do like root beer, but niceness full of swimming prawns chased in by the red tide. Okay. Both. Okay. Well, alcohol. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. And it changes. When I was younger, when it comes to liquor, I like to drink Bacardi and Coke. So it's rum and Coke. It was a good taste. I also like cognac and Coke, Asbach Cola. When I was in Germany, I was a youngster. I would drink Asbach Cola and Bacardi Cola. Bacardi and Coke. So those things. But I also partial to mixed drinks. I like a Long Island iced tea if it's made properly. Made properly, a Long Island iced tea. You don't know there's alcohol in it. Most people can't make it right. Whiskey sours. I used to love whiskey sours too. Even so, first alcoholic drink I used to drink was a whiskey sour. Loved it. Good stuff with a cherry in it. And then Osbach Cola in Germany, and then Bacardi Coke elsewhere because you can't get Osbach. But I'm not really a big liquor fan. I didn't drink wine back then, but then later I had a Michelsberg Piesporte, a wine from the Mosel region of Germany, and fell in love with it on a cruise from Germany to Sweden or to Norway. It was Norway. It's to Norway, yeah. Germany to Norway. Anyway, or Norway to back to Germany, and I had the Michelsberg Piesporte, and I loved it. And so I became a fan of German white wines. That was probably in the early 90s. And then as far as beer, I only drink German beer. I can't stand American beer. Carbonated garbage. It tastes like swill. It's horrible. If I'm going to drink beer, I want to drink the German Reinheitsgebot. And so in America, what I typically buy is Polana Hefeweizen. Polana is a Munich beer, and Hefeweizen is my first choice. Yeah, so a wheat beer. As far as soft drinks, amongst the colas, I prefer Coca-Cola, but I prefer it in a bottle made with cane sugar like I get from Mexico, not this crap with high fructose corn syrup that they sell in America, so I don't drink much of it anymore. I do also like Mellow Yellow, Mountain Dew on occasion, and I do drink root beer quite a bit so that I can avoid Coke with high fructose corn syrup. So beyond that, I drink tea, but it's not something I pine after, but I'll drink tea when it's offered to me. I didn't drink coffee. I detested coffee. It's an evil substance invented by Satan to enslave mankind, is my take on it. But a few years back, when I was in Botswana and bored on a Saturday, out of my mind, I went to a shop owned by a South African of Portuguese origin who lives in Botswana, has an Italian cafe and meat and butchery there, and sold sandwiches and such. So I went and I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to have a cappuccino. So I ordered a cappuccino. I taste it. I'm like, and then I put a bunch of sugar in it. I was like, not too bad. So I can drink a cappuccino occasionally. When I'm in South Africa, I drink a lot of cappuccinos because South Africa's a coffee culture. I drink a lot of cappuccinos. I haven't had a cappuccino here once since I came back from South Africa in August. That's the last time I had a cappuccino. No, that's not true. I had cappuccinos in France, but they're terrible. The French don't know how to make a cappuccino. The French cappuccino is vile and repulsive. So I had a few of them in France. I kept trying different places, and it was just terrible. So I can drink a cappuccino. And then, I love those milkshake-like frappuccinos that Starbucks has. Coffee's better than sex, says Joking Atheist. 3 cups a day? I challenge you to say that with sex. Well, you probably get chafing if you're having sex 3 times a day. I'm just saying, Joking Atheist. The only place I can stand the beer is in Munich. Everywhere else, the beer tastes the same. I prefer a nice bourbon. Developed an espresso habit while living in Rome. Well, I never lived in Rome, menage a trois, but I did live in northern Italy, and I didn't drink coffee there. In fact, interesting story, when I first arrived, and I was commander of the Vicenza Military Intelligence Detachment back in 1997, Dick LaFerrera was a counterintelligence agent there, and he'd had 38 years experience or something like that. And we went to meet with some Italian security officials. We meet with SISMI, SISDE, the Carabinieri, and a bunch of other intelligence. The Italians have more intelligence services than you can shake a stick at. They've got financial intelligence services, got immigration intelligence services, got national intelligence services, got Carabinieri intelligence services, military. They're everywhere. So we did a lot of liaison with them to get information to protect American forces. There's a lot going on in Italy. The PKK and Öcalan was extradited from Africa on behalf of the United States with our help, and the Italians played a role, so they're upset about that. We had the cable car incident, which a Marine reservist acting like an idiot, flying below where he's allowed to fly, flew his reserve plane too low, clipped and sliced through the cable of a cable car in northern Italy, killing a bunch of Italians. A horrific situation. People protested. So we had to meet with officials all the time. So I went to my first couple meetings, and they offered me an espresso. I'm like, oh, no, thank you. He pulled me aside in a quiet moment and said, you can't refuse to drink coffee. We won't be able to do business if you don't drink coffee. You have to drink coffee. I said, I don't drink coffee. It's terrible. I'm not going to force me to do it. But I did. So I started having espressos, but I would just pour half the thing full of sugar. Espresso is vile, disgusting. It's like drinking motor oil. I don't know why people like espresso. It's horrible. So I tried drinking espressos, but I never liked it. I just did it so I could do the liaison and share information. Best resource to go and learn about the latest developments when it comes to military strategy. Strategy? Well, the best place to learn about military strategy, gosh, I mean, the internet these days, there's lots of resources. I don't go and learn about military strategy. I mean, I know military strategy. I taught military strategy, taught national security strategy. My recommendation is to get some books on strategy. That would, go to Amazon or Take a Lot or something like that and find some books on military strategy. And it'll talk about different levels of strategy, the tactical, the operational, and the strategic level. Muscapino or Amarillo on ice. Amarillo, that's good. Okay, you got me there, Sharon. Amarillo, yeah, I'll drink Amarillo. That's good stuff. But I got to be in the right mood, and it can't be on an empty stomach. But Amarillo, yeah, oh yeah, good stuff there. That's a great African export. That's a good deal. It reminds me of what's the one from Ireland? Bailey's. But Bailey's reminds me of milk of magnesia. It's not quite the same, except Bailey's is caramel colored, whereas milk of magnesia is pink. But they remind me of the exact same sort of thing. JC makes a good cappuccino. Okay, Mom's family is from northern Italy. My brother is there now, right on the Swiss border. Okay, yeah. So Menage a Trois, hopefully that helps you as far as that. Jokes aside, is it not a feather in the cap for Biden for sticking to the Houthis? Yes, joking atheist. Yeah, it is, except that his policy is muddled and ineffective, as we can see. So Central Command is not accomplishing what needs to be done. So, yeah, it's a feather in his cap for attacking them, but it's not going to help him. Particularly, it's another grievance that is, members of Congress are actually complaining that we are firing back the Houthis. The Houthis have fired at international shipping in violation of international norms and international law. They're committing crimes. And so we're all just supposed to sit by and let them attack global shipping and murder people and hijack ships? That's insane. That's insane. Members of Congress are actually calling for that because they're just racist, pro-Islamic fanatics. I saw a raid by the Italian financial police in Bari. It was amazing how ruthless. Oh, yeah, Fleshing. Yeah, the financial police. Yeah, no, they'll mess around, man. They don't mess around. And they got all kinds of powers. Amarillo cream on ice cream. Oh, Charles, that sounds good. Bailey's in UK. Yep. Yeah, no, you got Bailey's here too. Well, Irish coffee is just, booze. That's what that is. Anyway, yeah, so that's an interesting conversation we're having there. We're at 98 likes. Can we get a few more before we wrap up? Can we get a few more? Yeah. What about limoncello? Anyone ever had limoncello? I'm sure that Fleshins probably had it in Italy. And Alter Bridge may have had limoncello. Limoncello I'd never even heard of. And I was in Italy and like, you want a limoncello? I'm like, what's that? It's an after-dinner aperitif. And it's an alcoholic one. But hey, that stuff is good. They serve it in a frosted little tiny glass. They pour it in there. Limoncello. Good stuff. And it's like concentrated lemon juice made out of alcohol. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, limoncello. Now you've got Italy and in Greece they have a similar thing. You have ouzo and grappa, and they're pretty much the same thing. It's the alcohol distilled from the grape crushings, I guess, and it's like clear, like Everclear. I don't care for it. It's just grappa, no. Ouzo, no thanks. Play fretless bass, kind of like cello. No idea what you're talking about. Yeah, after dinner, ice cold. Exactly, that's what it is. Absolute on lime sorbet. Not a big fan of sorbet. I used to eat sorbet. I like raspberry sorbet and stuff like that. But yeah, sherbet's not my cup of tea. It's okay. I prefer proper ice cream, not ice milk. Ice cream made with real milk. That's what I prefer. Ouzo and grappa are really hardcore drinking. Yeah, I agree, Charles. I agree. Limoncello. Amarillo. Now everybody's throwing out their favorite drinks there. Bailey's the same as, it's basically the same, but they're not made from the same things. Amarillo's made from the Murillo tree, and Bailey's is, I don't know what that's made from. The sweat and tears of young Irish maidens. I don't know. Cold fruit smoothies. Okay, well, that sounds good. Some of those can be good, but some of these people get carried away. When you put banana in the smoothie, that just ruins it for me. Oh, the taste of bananas is repulsive, particularly in a blended drink. Oh, cannot stand bananas. Ugh. And now that's going to fly in the face of many of my audience. They're going to be like, what? You can't stand bananas? Nope, I can't stand bananas. Yep. What did Nick Muller say? Time for hot cocoa. Yeah, it's actually a great time for some hot chocolate today. Hot cocoa, hot chocolate with the snow. And I don't know if it's still falling. It looks like it is. 3 inches of snow. It was supposed to be 3 to 5. 3. So I'm going to have to shove a little bit later on. I'm not in a hurry to go do that. Anyway, so yeah, that's where we're at right now. Bailey's very similar to Amarillo, except the brandy and cream rather than Amarula and cream. Yeah, there's not much difference, but they're not made from the same thing. I mean, the Irish didn't get Marula, nuts to make their Baileys. They've had Baileys for a long time. But yeah, Baileys to me, it's like, I don't know, it reminds me of 101 likes. Yeah, we can see 100 there. With this unbearable heat, we have Frappa. What, like Frappuccino? Anyway, yeah, I'd love to have one of those right now, but I haven't been drinking the bottles. You notice you probably see me on camera for the past week or so not drinking Frappuccinos because they got milk in them, and I'm cut back the dairy, hoping to get rid of this infliction, but it's still here. So I don't know what to say about that. But you notice it's a lot better. I'm not coughing constant like I have been the last few days, so maybe, knock on wood, getting past this nonsense. But I hope that's the case. Ouzo, greasy grappa, more pure. Haagen-Dazs. Yeah, Haagen-Dazs is expensive everywhere, Garrett. It's expensive everywhere. Limoncello free with dinners in local Italian restaurant here. Yeah, Mike, that's the norm in most places. They don't charge for it. Although if you go to a restaurant in Italy, you normally get it for free. Yeah, it has seemed to improve, but I'm still coughing a bit. But yeah. Glühwein. Ooh, Glühwein, yep. Yep. So now it's telling me no snow. It's just saying cold weather. I want the snow has just stopped. Winter advisory has been issued until 10 p.m. 29 degrees outside. The low is 17. Interesting. Tim Scott endorsing Donald Trump. Flames seen shooting out of a Boeing 747. What? Flames from a Boeing 747 prompting emergency landing in Miami. Wow. A Boeing 747 cargo plane made an emergency landing Thursday night as it was seen spewing flames in the night sky over Miami. The FAA, which is hiring mentally challenged and psychotic people as employees, is already investigating Boeing after the Alaska Airlines door plug fell off. Wow. The airlines said in a statement that Flight 5 Yankee 095 headed for Luis Munoz Marin Airport in Puerto Rico landed safely after experiencing... Oh, wow. I'm looking at this, man. My goodness. This is incredible footage of it, too. Oh, I'm going to show you this footage here in a second, folks. This is some incredible footage. Hang on. Wow. This is incredible footage. This is a plane on fire. Check this out. Wow. Look this up. This is pretty wild. Let me get the smaller camera up here. Logitech 2. Is it this one? That's not it. Where's the other one at? Come on. There it is. There we go. Okay. Oh, I got to get out of the way. I'm in the way now, so let me get out of the way. All right. Okay, here we go. So check out this. Watch it there, okay? Oh, my God, it's on fire, says somebody. Look at that. It's a 747 in mid-flight. Look at that, man. Woo. Man, oh, man, oh, man. That's crazy. That is cray-cray, folks. Do you see that? That's insane. Wow. Wow, that happened last night. Pretty crazy stuff there, don't you think? Don't you think? Wow. The crew followed all standard procedures and safety returned to Miami International Airport. At Atlas, safety is always our top priority. Kentucky a thorough investigation determined the cause. Plane took off at 10:22 in the evening, returned at 10:30. A source familiar with the investigation told NBC News that the preliminary examination of the Atlas aircraft revealed a softball-sized hole above the number 2 engine. Okay. Cell phone video uploaded to Instagram by a Miami resident shows a plane fly across the sky what appears to be a trail of fire behind it. Oh my God, it's on fire. Oh my God. Wow. The incident in Miami is the latest in a history of issues involving Boeing. It comes 2 weeks after the Alaska Airlines incident. Wow. That's crazy, man. Crazy. Amtrak cancels a cell of trains because they're too old to handle the cold. What? Amtrak is being forced to cancel a number of Acela trains because some of the older models are unable to operate effectively in the extreme cold that's hitting large parts of the U.S. The cold weather we're experiencing this week has been a problem, said Amtrak President Roger Harris, especially with the older Acelas, which we're hoping to replace with new ones coming later this year. Much of the country has been experiencing frigid temperatures this week as a polar vortex unleashed a chill across the nation. He said, we want to make sure we're very reliable service. Along with more than a dozen Acela trains that were canceled on Thursday due to the weather, Amtrak also suspended service on its Empire Builder line, which operates between the Pacific Northwest and Chicago. They're planning to replace their Acela trains with higher speed rail connecting Boston to D.C. later this year with newer models. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Wow, Macy's closing more stores in 2024. 5 stores and trimming its workforce by 3.5%. They confirmed yesterday. A $5.8 billion private offer from Investor Group trying to save it. Macy's going down in flames, man. Shame, shame, shame. Oh, there's that damn thing again. It beeped again. Do they make Glühwein elsewhere in the world? I just had the burning sugar one in Germany with rum. They don't make it elsewhere, but you can buy it. It's imported here. I think Aldi sells it every year, I think, around Christmas time. You can find it. It's imported to the U.S. among other places. So, yeah, you can find it. Yep. Different versions of it. Yep. Drunken Yoda says, shouldn't sleep on us for we have some of the best local microbreweries in the world when it comes to IPAs. Yeah, no, microbreweries are quite successful and they make some good beer, but they're not national brands, and we're talking about national brands that people recognize. So, retail apocalypse in 2024, poor Christmas sales, earnings globally. Yeah, and the thing is that, with Christmas, a lot of retail businesses make 75 to 90% of their revenue and their profit in December, the Christmas season. When you have bad Christmas, it could end your year. That's crazy stuff, but it's true. All right. Top liquor after a meal remains coin throw. That's a South African thing. Yep. Anyway, isn't it? No, there were no passengers. Hendo, it was a cargo 747. So the only passengers were the pilots. Gabriel says, seems to be like a bad time for flying. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, look at those flames, Charles. Yeah, those. I mean, it wasn't just flames. It wasn't like it's on fire. It's like, poof, a big explosion of it behind there, and then poof, another one. That's crazy. And the plane landed safely. Thank goodness for the pilots. Yeah. Where's Arctic at? Arctic is not here. We can talk to Arctic about pilots. Turkey Hill Triplepolitan Ice Cream. Turkey Hill's not bad. I've been to Turkey Hill. It's down on the Susquehanna, below Harrisburg, between York and Lancaster. Right there on the river, they've got a little Turkey Hill experience. It's interesting. Turkey Hill is one of those convenience stores and petrol stations that's here in Pennsylvania. Turkey Hill is one of them. It's kind of like, what's the one in Maryland? I can't think of it right now, but we've got 3 major, these local petrol station convenience store brands in Pennsylvania. We've got Turkey Hill, we have Sheetz, and we have Rutter's. Rutter's is based in York, Pennsylvania. It's privately owned. Sheetz is based in, it's not Altoona, is it? I think it's Altoona. And Turkey Hill's based down there on the Susquehanna River. Interesting stuff. Don't get Chris started on German ice cream. Hendo. Spaghetti ice. I used to say whenever the waitress would come and I'd order ice cream afterwards. The Germans have names for all these different ice cream dishes, and spaghetti ice is when they take ice cream, they push it through a little grater, and it comes out like noodles of spaghetti. In the center, they have German whipped cream, which isn't sweetened, which is tasty, much better than the American sweet stuff. Whipped cream, then the spaghetti ice on top of it, and at the top they pour warm raspberry sauce on top of it, and they call it spaghetti ice. Now, and then they sprinkle little grated stuff on top. It's really good. It looks like spaghetti. Then they have ice cream with hot raspberries poured on top of it in a little becher, a little cup, and that's called the heiße Liebe, which means hot love. So whenever I go to a German restaurant and for dessert, and they said, would you like some for dessert? And I said, tja, also ich hätte gern die heiße Liebe, which means I really have a hankering for the hot love. Turkey Hill is ice cream, but Turkey Hill also has they sell tea and drinks that are branded their own. Their iced tea is pretty good, and they also have petrol stations. Yep. Chris, you're salivating. I am when it comes to the heiße Liebe. Buc-ee's. I never heard of Buc-ee's. What's Buc-ee's? Is that a convenience store? I think someone mentioned that before. No, not Wawa. It's not Wawa. It's what's the name? It used to be the ice hockey rink there. What's the name of the damn convenience store? Not Wawa. Wawa is in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania too. What's the name of that? Oh, God bless it. I'm drawing a blank right now. Maryland convenience stores. Let's see what it comes up with. That's not it. Pete LaRue subscribed. Thank you for that, Pete. We haven't seen that in a while. What's the name of the damn thing? Oh, it's driving me nuts. Chain Convenience Stores, Maryland. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Come on. What's the name of that thing? Highs. Highs isn't the one I'm talking about. I know Highs. It's not showing me them. What's the name of that? Not Highs. Good guess there, Duncan Yoda. That's not it. This is directory. I don't want a directory. Brands. Okay. Let's try that. There it is. Convenience store companies. That's what I want. Convenience store companies. Nope. What's it at? Oh, what's it called? Oh my goodness. Come on. I got APHIS listed there. It's not APHIS. What is the name of that? Oh, that's driving me nuts now. Shoot. The Baltimore Clippers, they used to play in that arena. What did that used to be called? Mariner First. Royal Farms. That's it. Royal Farms. My goodness. Royal Farms. That's it. Royal Farms. That's the one I'm thinking of. Good Lord, that took me a while. From Baltimore, Maryland. Founded in 1959. 247 locations in Maryland. There are a few in Pennsylvania, too. Also in southern New Jersey. Yep. Royal Farms. That's the one. Royal Farms. My goodness, that was hard. $974 million in sales. Wow. The owner is Cloverland Farms Dairy. 1,300 employees. Royal Farms. Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, and North Carolina. Okay. Yep. Royal Farms. That's the one I'm thinking of there. Here's what a Royal Farms looks like, folks. You can see that. Hang on a second. Royal Farms. Boy, I was drawing a blank on that. There you go. Royal Farms. See the petrol station and then a convenience store on the inside. Royal Farms. That's the one I was thinking of. Boy, that took me a moment to dig that up in my head. Okay, no ice cream beats homemade gelati. Okay, I don't like gelati. Oh, I tell you, that's terrible. Yeah, Spy Game with Robert Redford and Brad Pitt from 20-some years ago is a very good movie. Very good movie. All you sweet tooth peeps, I'm sugar overloaded just listening to sweets. Yep. Homemade ice cream is relatively easy to make. Condensed milk cream. Okay. First time I ever had Rocky Road ice cream. I'm not really a fan of Rocky Road. My brother and sister speak German. We stayed in Kassel with exchange student. We had also come to Australia. Okay. Utz potato chips. Yeah, no. Utz. Utz. I'm not a big Utz fan. We can get Utz right here in the store. I mean, Utz is less than a kilometer from my house in the giant supermarket. Not an Utz fan. Yeah, I liked them when I was a kid. I liked their crab chips, but something's been done to them now, and now they're not quite the same. We also have Snyder's of Hanover here. That's a brand. We have local brands here in Pennsylvania for, let's see, brands of Pennsylvania potato chips. Let me do that. I know Royal Farms. I knew if I did the hockey team because it used to be called Royal Farms. Pensyl-LB. Potato chip manufacturers. Okay, Hers. That's another one. Hers. Okay, what's the best potato chip in PA? We rank the top brands. Okay, let's see what they say. Okay, so we got we got Martin's. That's another one. I'm not a fan of Martin's. Here you go. So here's some potato chip brands: Utz, Diefenbach's, Hers, and Hartley's. Okay, let's see what else. So Pennsylvanians are passionate about their potato chips. Fully knowing how loyal snackers are about their favorite brands, we decided to let the chips fall where they may. State's the epicenter of potato chip manufacturers, from mom and pops to mega manufacturers. The big question is, do cult favorites, brands like Middleswarth and Hartley's, stack up against some of the others? We stuck to plain and kettle-cooked chips only because some brands only produce kettle-cooked chips. We passed on the ripples and flavors such as chicken and waffle and barbecue. Okay, well, we discovered there are no duds in this bunch of spuds. Our panel of taste testers included Penlight, who cares who they were, munched on these chips. Okay, number 8, Goods potato chips. Okay. This is, when is this story from? It's probably 2019. Yeah, 2019, July 2019. So number 8 is Goods. Never heard of it. In Adamstown, Lancaster County. That's right down the road from here. Cooked in lard and advertised as an old-fashioned taste, which everyone loves. You'd think a kettle-cooked chip in lard would catapult it to number 1 spot. But it's number 8. Goods. Never heard of it. Then there's Middleswarth, made in Middleburg, Snyder County. Never heard of it. Cult following. So popular they're shipped around the globe. Never heard of it. Then there's Hartley's potato chips from Lewistown in Mifflin County since 1935. Never heard of it. Then Hers. I know Hers is right down the road. Made in Nottingham, Chester County. Cooked in corn and cottonseed oil. Okay, I know Hers. Then there's Diefenbach's. I've heard of that, but I can't find that. It's in Berks County, Wormelsdorf. Yeah, I haven't had that around here. Martin's. It's made in York County. I know Martin's. Yep, I've had those. They're good. That's not my first choice. Their packaging sucks, but the chips are good. Slow cooked with shortening. Okay. Utz. Made in Hanover, right down the road. I go by the factory. I went down there for my dermatologist about my skin condition. Yep. They're right down the street from that, the factory, Utz. And number 1, they're saying, is Nibble with Gibbles, made in Franklin County, Chambersburg, just west of here. Never had them. So Pennsylvania has a lot of chip brands. Utz would only deliver fresh, hence only available there. At least they used to. Okay. Pork scratching, says Gabriel. Okay. Pistachios, wasabi nuts. Ugh. Strange talking about ice cream now. It's freezing in Europe. I've got snow falling outside. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Just hear those sleigh bells ring-a-ling, jing, jing, jingling. The missus made a cake, and I'll have 3 vanilla for my birthday. Well, congratulations. Oh, Mike, it's your birthday. We almost ended the stream without knowing that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up. Happy birthday to Mike. Let's get it up there. Here's the birthday cake for Mike. Mike, happy birthday to you. Yeah. Alter Bridge, what is your love affair with Erica, man? You really are in love with Erica. You guys should get a room. Yep. Miss O'Grady's, the greatest of all chips. I don't know that one. Okay. I can agree. Pickled fish or curry. Oh, God, Sharon. Oh, no. You can have that. I'll pass. Simba. Yeah, no, I had Simba chips. They suck. Yep. I have the aircon in Australia at 2:50 in the morning. You carbon criminal, Alter Bridge. You're a carbon criminal now. Using air conditioning. Shame on you. My brother and sister. I already got that. Okay, so I'm caught up on the chat now. But that's potato chip brands here in Pennsylvania. So anyway. All right, we're over 2 hours, folks, and we gone past 2 hours. We've offered Mike a happy birthday. So happy birthday to Mike. And you let that slip in late in the broadcast. So there you go. Pickled herring. Oh, gross. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't like herring to begin with, let alone pickled. And that's it, folks. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you being here. And we will catch you tomorrow on Rugby Ascendant. There'll be no news broadcast likely tomorrow unless the breaking news story comes out, and I'll do a video on it because I've got 3 rugby games tomorrow. All right, and I need to go eat. I have not eaten. I'm getting a little bit lightheaded from not eating. And so thank you all for being here. I really appreciate the patronage, the audience that showed up today. We, at one stage, had 97 people here and a half hour into the program, so thanks for being here at 12:30. You guys take care and have a lovely day and be safe out there. If you're in Pennsylvania, be careful on the roads. It's unlikely that they're cleared satisfactorily at this point, and you can catch some ice, and next thing you know, wind up in a ditch or hitting someone else. So be very careful out there. Winter weather advisory from Chris Wyatt. Take care. I was laughing at South Africans' attempt to go green, installing diesel generators at petrol stations for e-cars. Exactly, joking atheist. Exactly right. Exactly right. All right. Cool beans, everybody. Take care. Appreciate it. And have a lovely evening. We'll catch you here. Well, I'll catch you on Rugby Senate tomorrow. Cheers.